on Monday. Today's Friday. Let's go back over to the boys now on the midday. Thanks.
Yo, yo, yo.
Yo, what's going on? Trader TV traders, hope everyone's having a good day today. Crazy stuff in the market. So much to cover, but I'm here. It's your boy Joe, next to my guy, Obi. Oh, I like that shirt that you got going on there. Nice tan color.
Yeah.
That's how we like to rock there.
Sure. Friday. It's a Friday.
It's Friday. It's Friday too.
Friday, Bears versus Bulls.
Friday, Bear versus Bulls is in the chat. It's Friday. It's looking good in Toronto weather-wise, so everybody's spirits are lifted. That's for sure. Let's wait till everybody starts rolling into this chat here, Obi, and then we're gonna start doing some roll call. I still got to even time in. I was waiting for that link, so here we go. We're gonna get into some open interest very, very shortly, but we're gonna do some roll call before we do. So just loading up the chat here now, guys. As the market is starting to take a little bit of a bounce here, positive, another big gap down day. Are those contrarian moves gonna come into play here later on today, guys? Maybe, I don't know. We'll just have to be patient, wait and see. But I'm still waiting for this to load. I don't know why it takes so long to load up here, Obi, but hopefully that will get the ball.
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta refresh the page.
Yeah, I've been refreshing, dog. Let's see what we can. Fresh, ever fresh. That's one of my buddy's things.
Sometimes you got to close the tab and then open
Close the tab and then refire it up.
Have you tried turning it off and on again?
Turn it off and on and again. We're going to do a lot of things here. Maybe...
Wow, look at this bid that's coming in on the market.
Yeah,
wow,
big pop here in the market, guys. Let's see what everybody's up to. Come on, chat. Obi, do you have the chat up on your thing
I got
here?
the chat up.
All right. Do a little roll call.
Bob
for me.
Vu saying, Obi about to look for shorts guaranteed. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'm looking at this price action, man. I'm like, yeah, when can I revert it? Adam DeLuz, what's up? What's going on? Darwin's in the house here. Guillermo Sanchez, what's going on? Thank you for being here as well. Greg Moore. Hot fire. Yeah, this market is hot fire on the day today as well. Casey, what's up? What's going on? I'm excited to hear what ideas you have on the day today. Darwin saying Trump just had a very productive call. Okay, all right, we can take a look at that as well. Monty G in the house as well. We got Racer X9. Daryl Finch, what's going on? Jose Perez, Brian Collins, and New Mexico Misfit. I'm seeing a little bit of everybody here. Normal special, I like that one there.
Normal special.
What's going on? Epic strategy, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for some epic strategies out here.
It's a good one, yeah. Send that my way, my guys. So
you got the chat, you got to go?
We still can't load her up, though, but that's okay. We're going to get right into this lesson here. That's my guy, Fabian. Okay, yeah, I'll log out. Yeah, I'll log in, log out there. We're gonna get into the lesson here, guys. Then I'll be sure to hop in the chat with you. You can see Apple, nice little bounce right here. Let's see if that can be continued. Oh, that's even better. Let's go. Come on, come back. No. Yeah, a lot of
shake it.
I kept shaking. There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Sometimes you gotta
give it. There we go. And we got the chat up here now too. Your boy is live in the chat.
Shake it.
What's up? There we go. Just need to shake it like I'll never do that again. I promise. I promise. I'll never do that again. All right. Just sorry.
That's good. That's fun. We're having fun.
Yeah, exactly. That's all that matters, guys. Glad to see everybody. Catman Do. I'm gonna give a couple shout outs here to the regulars. Let's see where all my people are at. Mr. Easy Street, Epic Strategy. We like that one. The New Mexico Misfit, Jose Perez, my guy, Gorev, Lo-Fi Soul. I like Lo-Fi Girl. Listen to that all the time. Good stuff there. That's what I do. And like Lo-Fi Geek, too. I like Lo-Fi Geek and Lo-Fi Girl. I'll just put that in the background. What's going on, Casey, friends? Hatham, Yasin, Daily Day Trade, and everybody else. All right, guys, there's a lot going on in the market here, so we want to get right back in. We're going to go through half of this lesson, and then we're going to start talking about some stocks because that's what we are here for. Let's go. All right, guys, in options trading, call walls and put walls refer to price levels where there is a significant concentration of open interest in call or put options. This is why we talk about it every single day. This is what I'm referring to, everyone. These levels often act as support or resistance in the market due to hedging activity by market makers and traders. One, understanding call walls and put walls. Now, if you've always been curious on why, oh, look at this strike price, 240, we got 30,000 open contracts. This is exactly why we are looking at those things, all right? So understanding call and put walls, a call wall, a price level where there is an extreme high amount of call open interest that is very very simplistic definition. Acts as resistance because many traders have bet that the price will not go beyond this level. There was a $10 super chat this morning on Tesla asking about 240. I'm going to pull up the chain, and there might be a wall at 240, even though we may have gone through that. Now you can see that it's accelerated to the downside, all right? So market makers may sell calls at this level and hedge by shorting the underlying asset, reinforcing the resistance level, okay? So a put wall, a price level where there's an extremely high amount of put open interest. So the inverse of the call wall. Access support because many traders have bet that the price will not drop below that level, okay? Market makers may sell puts at this level and hedge by buying the underlying asset, reinforcing support there, all right? So example, if a stock is trading at $95 and there is a massive call wall at 100, price may struggle to break above 100 due to resistance created by hedging dynamics and options positioning. 2, so what is open interest and how it relates to call and put walls? All right, so open interest is the total number of outstanding options contracts that have not yet been closed or exercised. Volume and open interest, 2 different things, all right? High OI at a certain strike price, that level is significant because many traders have placed trades there. High OI in calls, possible resistance, call wall, high open interest, and puts, possible support, put wall. And that's why I talk about looking at the open interest from a day-to-day basis on the 0 DTEs in the likes of SPY and in the likes of Qs that can give you a potential range and what that underlying asset is going to trade at, okay? So how does it affect price movement? If OI decreases, it means positions are being closed. Market sentiment is weakening at that level. I've seen it happen before. I've seen 30,000 contracts being dropped one time on Nvidia, and then we just went through the roof, all right? So, okay, we're going to answer a question here. I have a question, Joseph. Open interest on a spread I bought. Am I screwed on my trade if it closes? I have a question. 0 open interest on a spread I bought. Am I screwed on my trade when I close it? No, you shouldn't be screwed on the open interest whatsoever. You just want to make sure that that contract itself is liquid, okay? So, example, if open interest at the $100 strike for calls is large, market makers may hedge by shorting the stock as price approaches 100, making it harder to break through. If OI at 90 strike for puts is massive, market makers may hedge by buying the stock near 90, creating more support levels, okay? So let's take a prime example and look at some high levels of open interest. This was Nvidia earnings. Wow, Nvidia now trading south of 100. This is when right before the earnings, but look at 140. Look at 140. That is an outstanding amount of open interest, and before the earnings report, it even grew drastically. Did Nvidia exceed 140? Absolutely not. It did not. It tanked and continued to move lower. Those levels coming in as acting as possible resistance, and it came into play there, okay? So we had an equal amount almost on the call and put side that is pinning what we like to refer to as options pinning and giving us the inability to climb any higher there. So focus on those there. Focus on that there, guys. We're going to get back to that lesson, but first we're going to go to Adara and see what she's got. Breaking news, guys.
I just want to recap here some of these market moves we just had. So here is RH. This one actually halted to the upside on this push. This declined 40% yesterday. Basically what happened here is, of course, Charles Gasparino, who is a frequent Fox business contributor, posted on X that he's heard sources close to the White House telling him that Scott Bessent, who is the United States Secretary of the Treasury, apparently is trying to quietly moderate Donald Trump's trade tendencies, but him doing so also poses a bit of a downside risk for the market because apparently him doing so flies in the face of Trump's closest allies, who are trade advisor Peter Navarro and also Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick. So, well, this could be a good force for the market. It could also lead to some wider tensions apparently within the administration when it comes to tariffs. Also worth noting, Donald Trump saying that, quote, this would be a perfect time for Fed Chair Powell to cut interest rates, also saying that apparently Vietnam is communicating to him that they want to do a deal on tariffs as well. So here are some comments coming out on tariffs. RH just opened. We're looking for names that really benefited from that pop to the upside. Retailers certainly on watch. RH and Lululemon both making massive upside pops. With that little recap over, I'll send it back to you.
Thank you for that, Adara. Yeah, guys, make sure you hit that like and subscribe. Here, we got 6,000 people watching. We're going to talk a lot of stocks today. We're going to talk tariffs, and we're going to get right into the volatility in these markets. Obi was referring to the VIX earlier today, and we're definitely going to be getting into the VIX because it's options related.
No, for sure. I think today I woke up in the morning and I saw earlier on, I was like, oh boy, a VIX of 45.
Yep.
And the first thing that started happening was I started drooling. No, I'm joking. No, I was just like, all right, well, the volatility is extremely high. This is one of the days we speak of. You know, we're like, oh, remember when that event happened and VIX was in the 40s, VIX was in the 30s, right? And I was looking at it yesterday, and I was like, all right, well, we're stepping up a little bit. We wound up a couple weeks ago for the past couple of weeks. We've been winding up a little bit on the VIX. We finally get that push, aggressive push higher here. Wow, Amazon's about to break its high day. This is absolutely crazy here. But yeah, no, a little bit of volatility reversion that happened in the pre-market. So I was watching this, and I talked to Neil about this in the morning as well, and Sean. I was like, yeah, I'm going to be watching UVIXI for off of the open. UVXY. The thing was, I tried to get a little bit short in the morning right here when UVIXI was holding this 37 area. Didn't really get filled right away. Canceled my orders. It ended up going down to 34s, and I was like, oh boy, wasn't very happy about missing that trade. You can see that it kind of rejection of that VWAP as well on the UVIXI that comes in, that confluences with that 37 level, also some pre-market structure as well. But we've bid up since then. We went up all the way, almost back to 40 with a 39.71 high here on the UVIXI, all the way back down to its lows. One ticker that I was watching, so I missed a couple of trades on that. I took a couple of trades on the TQs. I was watching this on Amazon. I know that Neil was pointing it out. I was actually looking at this trend first. I got started pretty early. You can see here on my chart. I got started on this little pullback, and then I'm like, all right, well, we might take another leg up. But I did well to stay relatively light. I did kind of risk a little aggressively up here, but it kind of was just as aggressive when it did come back down. Unfortunately, though, didn't hold anything for the puke into that 170. That was really nice. I covered pretty much everything in and around that 173 mark. That was a big fumble on my part. Just had to wait a few more minutes for it to capitulate and push right into 170. And I think the average ended up being, I think I was in the high 170s. 4s, 175, low 175s ish, with most of that average there. So I kind of like my price there, but yeah, got to do a little bit better for holding that. But this is absolutely wild. We came all the way right back up. Nice bounce off of that 170. So yeah, the VIX is definitely moving around here. A little bit of reversion happening on the overall bigger picture, because yeah, we kind of gapped down pretty decently, but you can see that Amazon's pushing back into prior days levels here. We can take a look at Nvidia as well. Nvidia not quite there just yet. VWAP sellers pretty dominant on Nvidia off of the open and the continuation. We were watching this, that 100 failure to follow through on Nvidia right off of the open kind of told us right away who was in charge and who might be in charge for the foreseeable future right off of the open in the morning session. So I did take that into consideration while making a few decisions there on Nvidia. Again, Nvidia being one of the leaders of said market. And we can take a quick look at Tesla as well. Tesla kind of wicked that 250 something right there. Oh, okay, so that was 260, 261. We're trading just below 250. 250s right now at 248.70 VWAP. So got an eye on this one. Let's see if VWAP sellers come right back in. One of my morning plans was very similar to yesterday's, where I was looking for continuation of sellers stepping right back in on VWAP. Not every ticker is doing that. You can see that Amazon is distinctly different, but Apple, Softy, Alphabet, Tesla, Nvidia, all still below their day lows, as Amazon relatively strong and definitely pushing aggressively to the upside. Not really much else really acting like that, other than, okay, well, I just pulled up my my chip basket here. ARM is actually relatively strong in the chips. A lot of the chips just trading in and around their VWAP and making lower highs as of right now. Nvidia almost pushing up into that VWAP, as we can see right here. But yeah, take a look at ARM. You look at that. That strength on ARM, absolutely aggressive here. What else are you guys watching on a day like today? Again, that tariff continuation kind of happening on the day today in the pre-market as well. We saw a little bit of reciprocal tariffs kind of coming in from China, and that bringing in the volume to carry out and draw out the rest of the move. Another leg down that we're seeing here with some catalyst-driven volume that came in the morning. Walmart looking interesting as well. I do have eyes on a few staples here. Let's take a quick look at the map and take a look at what sectors might be green, what sectors might be red as well. I'm expecting lots and lots of red. So let's see what we have in store here on the map. So take a quick look at that.
Stuff.
Boom. So a lot of red here I'm seeing, Joe, but take a look at that. UNH, actually UNH was on my watch list this morning, and because it was the only one kind of bid up, and I think Adara was talking about this one in the morning as well. She was looking at UNH, I'm pretty sure, for that continuation. One of the only tickers that really bid up yesterday while the rest of the market kind of sold off, and you can see that today we're seeing that continuation. It is up about 1%, while the rest of the market is taking a little bit of a bath here on the day. But consumer cyclicals, DHI is up 4%. Let's take a look at this DHI and see what's going on over here. DHI, you know, when things are doing things that are distinctly different, I definitely want to keep eyes on here. You can see that it's doing about 5-6 times our vol, and would you look at that, straight to the upside here on the day. How much volume has it done? 2.5 million shares on the day, with a float of 278 million shares I'm seeing here. So DH hoarded up on some decent volume on the day. So that, I guess that one's getting bought up here as well. Let's see what else. Do we see, what is that? ED up 1.2%, Pepsi up 0.5% here. Let's see what else. DHI, LEN, and NVR, I don't know what that one is here. TJX also up 1%, man. So
all right, we got a $5 super chat here,
okay,
Obi. Let's go over the super chat here. Nicole Harris, do you think Amazon is moving off TikTok news, debating hold and call over the weekend? I hope you haven't been in those calls during this gap down, because that would be ugly, and I really hope that they're further dated out. TikTok news, not so much. 34% tariffs from China, I think so. Around the board, so that's why I think it's getting hit a little bit more heavy here, discretionary, right? Because at the end of the day, you can get what you can get off of Amazon at your local superstore and everything along those lines. So yeah, I think it's just here, we're gonna pull it up, to be honest with you, because I'm looking for that kind of contrarian aspect in that view here, Obi, from a daily perspective, because we've already played a bounce on this. And this is a really big engulfing candle. If this closed as a hammer, but this is waterfall type price action on the daily. So not a good look whatsoever here on Amazon. We're gonna go what approximately we're down right now. Is that what we're trading at? 173, 28%, 35% from peak to trough there, guys. So will it get a bounce eventually? Now we're sitting, what are we sitting at? Some February 24, so that's a year ago levels, a little bit more, right? So there you go. What's gone in the S&P? We had back-to-back 20% years. Not so much anymore. Well, I guess you can still calculate it, but we're just getting right back into those levels here as well, too, guys. So you can see now we're back. Let's see. Let's bring this March of 24, right? So there you go. All these gone in a matter of a couple months. But again, this could be a positive sign, right? If we close on this hammer, you can see that we have multiple gap down days, double gap down. And Obi, I know that you are familiar with a specific strategy with the double gap down strategy. Am I correct?
I think it was the gap up one.
Is it the gap up? Would that be okay? So
the gap
maybe
down is a totally different
system. Okay, so maybe we create that, right? You can see that we're forming this hammer right here, guys. So let's see if we can make a play off that. Let's see what Adara's up to.
Retailers that rallied here quite aggressively. So just to recap, there was some indication that apparently, according to Charles Gasparino, frequent contributor to Fox Business, he's heard from sources close to the White House that Scott Bessent, who is the U.S. Treasury Secretary, is trying to quietly moderate, quote unquote, Donald Trump's tendencies with regards to these tariffs. So in that story, we had a lot of these retailers push sharply to the upside, a lot of them giving back some of the move, but I want to go over some of them so you have some stocks to look at. CROX, ROST. 5 below, which would be FIVE. We also have Lululemon pushing to the upside. RH actually halted to the upside on this move. Home Depot, so keep an eye on any of these retailers that were hit pretty hard on the tariff announcement. If these tariff effects are moderated, that would be a great look for these names, which do have these tariffs stand to hurt their business due to some margin increases there, guys. Back to you.
Adara, and thank you, Nicole Harris, for that super chat. I don't want you to bag hold those calls. I don't know your strike, your expiration cycle, or anything along those lines. If you put that in the chat, we can definitely dive a little bit more deeper into what you got going on from a position standpoint. Until then, I can only give you what we see from a technical standpoint there. Obi. Yeah, Epic strategy. I don't bench that much, to be honest with you. Not like a heavy bench guy, more cows, but I can push a little weight, I guess, here and there. So yeah.
It's been years since I touched a bench press. So
right.
How much can you bench?
How much can I bench?
Me?
Oh, how much do you bench?
The other guy. Yeah. I could do
25.
No, I could do it a couple reps, but clean 185, clean 10 reps.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm not going to try to overshoot anything like that. We'll go 185, 10, and I'm talking clean.
Man, you work out how many times a week?
6 to 7.
6 to 7 times a week?
Yeah, I work out I do something physical every day of the week.
Nice.
Yeah.
I try to do that as well, yeah. A little bit of...
Try to work out every day.
Yeah, try to do a little bit of that every day. A little bit of physical.
Yeah, you got to do that. Exactly. So you go for walks.
I don't
Yesterday
necessarily
I went for a walk.
like, we're trying to join this gym when as soon as it opens up nearby.
Probably 175 right now. Yeah. But mind you, guys, I actually, after I got back, sorry, we'll get right, because we got a lot of tariff talk here. Since I got back from Jamaica, I've actually cut sugar out of my diet, and it's helped quite a bit there, Obi. So yeah, so completely cut that stuff out. So there you go.
Did we get a call for Adara?
Oh, did we get it? Yeah, so we're going to go to Adara, more tariff talk here, guys.
Not necessarily tariff talk, but more companies actually delaying IPOs due to tariffs. This is just the NASDAQ here, maybe running into some resistance, but both StubHub and Klarna reportedly delaying their IPOs due to these tariffs coming in from the U.S. administration. This is reported by Wall Street Journal. So Wall Street Journal reporting not one, but 2 major IPOs we were expecting this year, Klarna as early as April, are going to be delayed. Separately, Fed Chair Jerome Powell is set to speak in a couple minutes. I have multiple video streams and feeds watching for this, so I will let you guys know once he takes that podium. It's worth noting, too, right ahead of his comments, we had Donald Trump here, President of the United States, posting on his Truth Social account that he thinks that Jerome needs to lower rates. So keep an eye on this talk here from Fed Chair Jerome Powell. Back to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to look, Obi, you can say what you got going on. I want to look up for a couple of news articles. I know that a lot of people in chat were referring to Vietnam countering with 0% tariffs. So they're like, all right, we need you. We're going to eliminate our tariffs. So what are you going to do for us? So I'm going to look at, see if I can find anything on that there, Obi.
Yeah, no, I think again, with news on the horizon and things changing every few hours, it would seem the volatility in the market's definitely a little bit expected. Again, like what we were talking about before, VIX of 45, VIX of 40s, 30s. That's pretty wild here on the day. I'm kind of watching what is this? I'm kind of watching XLY right now. XLY a little close. I have a little bit of a dabble here on Nike on that intraday catalyst as it kind of stalls. That bid that came in kind of stalls a little bit here. But yeah, Amazon with the bid coming in as well. I got eyes on that one. I tried that reversion earlier on. That kind of we're making higher highs and higher lows as of right now, especially with that 170 hold. That was clean. Got to respect that for sure. And yeah, if that's going to come in and continue to hold higher structure, and buyers are going to continue to step up, and the VIX is continue to do a little bit of a pullback, then I do want to be respecting that action and just going with the flow, just waiting and being patient for things to kind of fall into place for me to be like, all right, well, this is the trade that I want to be in on the day today. But yeah, volatility definitely expected. We're all the way down to 18,000, Joe. Yeah. So yeah, pretty wild. It was just yesterday we were talking about 19.5, 19.6 consolidation. Is this important? We're just consolidating. Guess what? Leg consolidation, leg. We're getting more of that selling that we've been more of the same. same. More of what's been happening over the past couple of weeks there. 3 or 4 weeks of selling. We consolidated for a little bit. We got some more news, and it was I guess more sell the news event. Even though we sold off into it, so more selling.
Obi, I think you nailed that on the head, man. Just keep going on with. You want to go with the flow, right? Not necessarily what I've tried to catch some bounce. Past couple days been rough, no doubt. Just full disclosure, but it's all right. We bounce back, so we'll get things sorted out. Then when the market decides to turn around, we'll be most definitely looking to take advantage of that there, Obi. So yeah. You got anything going on right now?
Nothing. Just in this Nike short that's starting to work a little bit here. I kind of here's the thing, man. We talked about that sizing calculator. I did not use it once again. I was like, I didn't pull it
on your
up.
Amazon trade or your
Nike
Nike trade?
On my Amazon trade, I did kind of use it, but I could definitely do a little bit better with getting a lot more aggressive. I think there was a point where I was risking break even, and I was talking to Sean about this concept of like, if you're risking break even, then you should be in all the size that you're comfortable being in, given whatever risk parameters that you may be following for that trade, right? So, but yeah, let's see what Adara has to say, and we can continue this conversation after we're back.
Just be aware here, I'm seeing comments coming out here from Fed Chair Powell. None of the streams that I have up here to see his comments have actually begun, so it looks like these must be prepared comments being released, but I'll read them out here because they are not necessarily super bullish for this market. He did say that possible tariffs could have persistent inflation impact, saying that there's risk of higher unemployment, higher inflation that have been elevated from these tariffs, and that the economic impact of tariffs is likely larger than the Fed and the economy expected. Right now, though, he said the economy's in a good place. So keep an eye on this market. Again, none of these streams that I'm using, and I'm looking at several, show that Fed Chair Powell has begun speaking, but we usually get a release of prepared remarks before the comments anyways. I'm going to keep keeping an eye out there. Back to you.
Good look there, Obi. I'll send it to you in a second. So our good buddy Tom Lee over there at Fundstrap slams Trump's absurd tariff hike, expects a recovery, but says timing is uncertain as market sheds $2.5 trillion in one day there, Obi. So Tom Lee, not overly happy, and we know that he is a tech bull, but with these tariffs coming into play, guys, $2.5 trillion wiped from the books in one day. So there you go. We got some tariffs. But there you go. But see, that's one thing. I believe it's a negotiation tool. Are they going to stick? Are these tariffs going to be at these levels, at these high percentage levels come the end of the year? I don't think so, because other countries are going to want to go to that negotiation table and try to like diminish and find reason amongst all of this chaos to be like, okay, we all need each other. Let's come to a conclusion. We'll go tit for tat. I don't like this. You don't like that. And then eventually everybody will hopefully come to a reasonable conclusion there, Obi.
No, I think, again, I'm not too familiar with some of the past tariff skirmishes that we've had. But yeah, no, I think that again, I'm still learning here. I'm still trying to experience this volatility alongside everybody here. I've never really experienced this kind of market, so it's a good learning experience. I think, and I'm very grateful to be involved in the markets during these times here as of right now. But yeah, no, I think there's again, like there's a lot of opportunity as well. What I'm seeing is like you got to be patient. When I'm not being patient, when I'm getting myself into a little bit of trouble, but if I'm being patient, being calculated, then things are tending to work a little bit better here. A little bit of a pullback here on XLY, it seems. I'm looking for it to come back into VWAP here, but we got some news with Adara.
Well, it's good to know here. Powell is on the podium. I did find a stream that has him currently talking. So he is speaking, but we're still going to go over some of these, I guess, prepared remarks here, because that's usually what happens first. Basically, he did say that tariffs are likely to raise inflation in coming quarters. More persistent effects are possible, and it's going to be too soon to say what the appropriate path for monetary policy will be. I think the other thing really here to mention is that he said, because the tariff increases will be larger than expected, the same is going to be true of economic impact. So because we're seeing larger than expected tariffs, we're going to see larger than expected effects in the economy reverberating through. So keep an eye here on the market dropping on Fed Chair Powell's comments. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Adara. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff going on in the chat. Yeah, crab stock, I can't do anything about that there. So yeah, it's only gonna let's see what Daryl Finch has to say. It's only gonna hurt American pockets. I also don't see Jerome at this point lowering rates, as it will be a mistake. Joe and Obi, and I mean, there you go, right? So like implementing these tariffs can act as inflationary. I mentioned that with every 100 basis point increase in the tariff can add 10 basis points to inflation. What can happen now as we cut interest rates, so the market necessarily not thinking that we're going to price any in or have any this year, and we decide to go, Jerome decides to do a couple 25 basis point cuts, that can just add to that inflation as well too. So hitting that 2% goal is going to be extremely difficult now, especially with these new measures in place there, Obi.
Yeah, no, I think again, we gotta stay on our feet. That's the biggest thing, especially if we're trading these here markets. Got to be on your feet. Got to keep your stops in as well, or risk wide enough that you're accounting for swipe risk, right? So that's another thing as well. So there's multiple different ways to kind of approach this as well. I think I don't know all of them. I know that for a fact. But again, I'm here kind of trying to learn as well. So this is what I was looking at earlier here, just this XLY that I'm watching while I'm in this Nike, a little bit of a reversion back to VWAP on that strong bid that we got. No idea how well this is going to work. If we were going to consolidate, push a little bit higher, definitely be wrong on this. And I would want to respect a little bit of that VWAP hold as well. But VWAP, on the day, the intraday VWAP all the way down at 55.28 here on Nike, and currently the anchored VWAP, we're holding the anchored VWAP from said event. Here we can just throw it up so we can take a quick look at that as well. Where is my anchored? There it is. Here, so there's that volume that comes in, and you can see how nicely we're holding that anchored as a little bit of support as of right now. So that's at 57.51. So let's see if there's any continuation here on Nike as well as XLY with a little bit of that news that's coming in as of right now. Trading back above 58 is going to keep a close eye on this one. Got Amazon on watch as well as it pulls back off of that 178. You can see that the futures are taking a little bit of a breather here, kind of trading, chopping around that 18 thou mark here on the NASDAQ. Let's see if that 18 thou acts as a little bit of resistance, and if we continue to if sellers continue to step down here day after day on these markets. So I don't think the selling is done. We're, again, like I said before, we're doing more of the same that we've been doing for the past couple of weeks. Maybe a little bit of more magnitude on the day today as the VIX hits 30s and 40s. So
Yeah, let's pull up the VIX here too, Obi. As we had that massive spike in it, so the fear index coming full into play. I hate it when I do that. There we go. Yeah, wow, Obi. Yeah, punching into a high of 45.52 here on that fear and greed index, but now coming in here to the downside, wiping off about 10 points. So yeah, really a massive spike through some of this, excuse me, some of these resistance zones. So there you go. The volatility has completely stepped in to the market. What does that mean there, guys? That means we're going to be paying increased options premiums as well too. So not necessarily a buyer's market just yet, just in case that volatility decides that it wants to cool off, which I do believe it will, because we only have these events so many times a year, and I will go over those statistics here momentarily right after we get back from Madeira.
So just be aware here, Fed Chair Powell's prepared remarks have ended. He's now taking questions from the crowd, so watch out for this market as Fed Chair Powell takes some questions from the audience at this event. Guys, back to you.
Thank you for that, Adara. So yeah, guys, something to note. So the VIX has only spiked it's only spiked over 80% a handful of times in its history. And I'm not saying this is going to be the case because we're not there yet. But if you go to previous spikes, whether it be the yen carry trade, and then there was another high-level ranking catalyst Oh, the DeepSeek news. So when we had those massive spikes in volatility and the increase in VIX over 80% in one trading session, the market will make a new all-time high in a matter of months. You can go back to the yen carry trade and you can go back to the DeepSeek news. The market ended up constructing a new high. Is that going to be the case here? No, we're quite some ways off of it. But with a high spike in the VIX, this can be some positive signs that we might get a bounce. I'm going to be looking to play those options, those island gaps via options. My guy Gorv wants me to pull up Hood here for a moment there, Obi, to see what we got going on. I love this daily print. We're down. We're now south of what we were before, and that's going to put us around 52%, 49%, where we're currently sitting at. So that's really key. A 48% haircut here on Robinhood. And if you go back and look at its prior earning report, go back the previous 4 quarters, this company is still growing. Those numbers are really, really well. They're really good, strong fundamental numbers. So a stock like this, in my opinion, doesn't deserve to have a 50% haircut. Again, it doesn't matter what my opinion is, but if you ask me, Obi, with the heightened volatility and heightened volume coming into the markets, I think it's only going to benefit some of these brokers. More transactions, more volume, more participants. I think that's good for some of these brokers, and I think that the Q1 is going to be better than some people expected when they report here in a couple of weeks, Obi.
Yeah, no, I think that's definitely something to consider. Again, a lot more volume definitely brings. Wow, look at that selling. Oh boy, look at that selling on Nike. There it comes in. That reversion coming in real hot. Let's see if we can get down into VWAP there. Oh boy, 57s, no real size at that 57s. Yeah, definitely. So I do agree with you. More volume in the markets means brokers are making more money, right? So it's like at the end of the day, what you have to know is like what they're saying that what Nasdaq open 24 hours by 2026, right? Think about it. They're just realizing that yeah, you keep the market open for longer. They're the only ones that are going to be making more money, right?
Yep.
So at the end of the day, they understand that, and they're implementing kind of things that are effective and conducive to their business on that push there, right? So let's see, with this market coming in, XLY came into that VWAP. That's what we're looking for here. So let's see how much further we can go. Is the reversion going to continue to revert here, or are we going to find a little bit of a hold in and around this VWAP here? That flush down into 57 on Nike, getting a little bit bid as of right now, but the move has just started, so I've got to stay a little bit patient with this one and let it kind of work out here. Let's see what the chips are up to. Spider's kind of down as well. Nvidia at 94, so couldn't really get back up to that 100 mark I'm seeing. So that's something to consider. That's something to keep on watch as well on Nvidia. So let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat what you guys are trading. I'd love to see what else you guys think is in play on the day today. Today I came in, I was like, yeah, volatility definitely in play. I wanted to take a piece of the VIX there, a little bit of a trade on the VIX. Didn't quite get in on the entry that I wanted, so I left it alone. I took a shot at the TQs. Wasn't anything that significant there. Didn't really take any significant size. These got stopped out of that one. Again, just a little bit of a dabble. Sometimes I like to just do that. Just throw a little bit of a feeler in there, just to get a taste of the bid or the ask there, and how things might be moving around, how things might be filling. So yeah, nothing. I didn't really have anything else on watch today. We can go over my morning.
Yeah, go over your morning trades there.
Morning
or your
notes. Yeah, 1 second. Let me just pull that up. Boom. Okay, so morning trade plan. Let's see what was here. Let me just do this. Okay, boom. So VIX at 7:56 a.m. was at 41.19. Oh boy, could have definitely gone into a short there. VIX came all the way down. But yeah, so look for midday continuations, VWAP. That's been kind of the theme. That's been kind of the trade that I've been looking for. It doesn't happen every day, but again, if it's there, that's a reminder to myself to kind of look out for that. I'm like, okay, watch the strong selling on tariff news. Look for a potential continuation, like gap give and go. Look for the bid to dissipate before getting involved in the short. Let sellers show you that they're in charge before getting involved. I think that's pretty simple there. And having execution sets for for that as well. Watch out for SSR as well. I'm reminding myself because a lot of tickers are sold off. Might not be able to get into shorts right off the bat. You have to provide liquidity in order to get into some of those shorts. So watch out for SSR was a reminder. I was like, UVIXI, keep this on watch. Look for the overall reversion. Keep stops on prior structures. VIX is another, VXX is another vehicle. But guess what? That reversion all the way from 40s already happened in the pre-market. So I was like, that trade is off the table because that trade was so good. It already happened in the pre-market session. We went to 45. We reverted 50%. So the thing, I always say this, what has the highest probability of reversion overall, and it's almost always volatility, right? So volatility has the highest probability of reversion, and we saw a 50% reversion on volatility just in the pre-market session this morning. So that trade, I kind of missed that one there. So two more tickers that I had on watch, totally unrelated, not really, stuff that maybe not everyone's really looking at, and that was DD. They had a China probe there, and I was like weekly breakdown at 61. Again, looking for that view up hold, looking for sellers to stay in charge. Didn't really pay too much attention to it. Starbucks trend breaking down below multi-week consolidation. Didn't really take a look at that one here, but let's take a look quickly at those two tickers, SBUX and DD, and see what they kind of did there. So I was like, look for a continuation off of anchored VWAP or VWAP, right? And you can see that VWAP has been holding. We've been holding kind of lower highs. It's not perfect, but you get the gist. We're downtrending, right? So that's the idea there on Starbucks. DD, oh boy, wow, look at that. Look for sellers to be in charge right off of the open, flushes off of VWAP, flushes opening range low on the 3-minute, and then flushes that 5-minute opening range low as well for a strong continuation off of, 59 breakdown. It goes all the way to a low a day at 56s, and now we're reverting that move back. So again, lots of opportunities in this market. Didn't really capitalize on everything that I planned for, but again, where's the next trade? That's what I'm asking. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I know I'm going to miss a lot of trades in this kind of market. The thing is, you just got to be ready for the next one and just protect the mental, and that's what I'm trying to do as best as I can.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one for sure. So. I mean, yeah, that's a good point, guys. We got another $5 super chat here. Do you have a favorite candlestick pattern that you feel more confident trading? That's a great question. We'll go over this really quickly. Hammer candle at VWAP or at the lows, and then I'm going to show you guys Apple. This is one of my favorite setups, another hammer candle. So go back to our lessons. Check out the VPA lessons, and that's exactly those signals that I have more confidence in taking up right there. And then hood, we can even take this from a daily perspective, a nice isolated pivot, potentially island gap for a bounce there. We're going to be looking at the options chain very momentarily on that one. Let's see what Adair's up to, guys.
Chair Powell saying that it's too soon to say with any certainty how the market is going to be impacted by these tariffs or how the economy is going to be impacted. He says we'll probably get a better idea in about a year from now. So Chair Powell basically saying more or less we're going to have to wait and see how these impacts things. But he also said that it's a good time to step back and let things clarify. Again, they cannot necessarily give an idea of a monetary policy response that would be appropriate as of yet. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Adair. Just more tariff talk here, guys. So on January 19, the average weighted tariff was about approximately 2.7%. With the projected increase, the average weight would now move to about 10.9% or 11%. All right. So with every 100 basis point increase in the weighted average price, it's roughly about 10 basis points of core inflation. So that's why individuals are worried about reigniting inflation and making the Fed's job significantly harder to get to that 2% goal there, Obi. So yeah, I think it's multiple things can happen. All right, so you can go to a more fair trading system. Option 2, they decide to implement typical reciprocal tariffs, and you just go tit for tat until agreements are met. So that's what that's kind of what I was referring to earlier. But that can also lead to some stagflation as well too, there, Obi.
Yeah, for sure. We're getting a little bit of a bid here back on the market. Again, the market kind of chopping around this 18,000 mark that I have on watch. I'm really curious to know what we do in and around here. If we continue down or we continue sideways. Again, we've been kind of just chopping and consolidating, right? You can see since about, what is this? Since about, I got to see what that is, about 7 o'clock in the morning, we've been kind of holding this range between this 18.3-ish down to 17. 13.9s. We've been pretty much trading within that range. We broke down a little bit lower. We flushed down into 17,600s as well right there, and then nice little bid back up into that 18,000. But technically, we are making lower highs as of right now here on the market. So I do have that on watch. Not really looking at anything else. I want to know what you guys are watching. So throw that up in the chat, and we can take a quick look at those tickers as well. Some of the volume leaders as well on the day. Again, wow, we've been seeing this ICCT quite frequently. This one on the board more frequently than others here. Volume leader ICCT, interesting stuff. Again, I know people have been watching this over the past few days, doing some relative volume as well, and moving a decent amount. Again, we opened up yesterday in and around what, sub $2. It would seem sub $3-ish, and then current day high is 761. So absolutely wild on that one there. Nice little multi-day mover here on ICCT. Actually, I want to know what the market cap and the float might be for that one. Wow, 1.68 million float. Yeah, that'll do it. And where is that market cap? So 13 million market cap. So yeah, don't necessarily need a lot of dollar volume to move this guy around here. But yeah, Nvidia kind of holding that VWAP, so it seems like VWAP sellers are showing us who's in charge. Tesla as well. Ford kind of chopped the other way, a little bit more of a bid there. Lucid to the downside as well. Palantir to the downside. American Airlines, okay, wow, that's a nice little V-shaped recovery, almost back to its day highs. Not there just yet, but pretty much a valiant effort with that one there, with a nice little bid back up towards day highs. QBTS, oh boy, yeah, this quantum sector has been bleeding off of its recent highs as well, pretty nicely. So yeah, that thing's continuing to kind of bleed off here. $6.53 currently on that one. Intel, I was watching this one as well off of the morning session there. Nice little flush. We saw that, again, this kind of coincided with that Nvidia 100 failure to follow through, and that came in real hot as well. So again, more of the same here on some of these chip tickers. Intel to the downside. VWAP sellers may be holding some dominance here on not just the chips, but a lot of different tickers here. Rivian, wow, look at this one. Now, that's a strong bid that came in, again, in and around that 1051 mark, and we've been holding higher highs and higher lows since that volume came in on Rivian, so that could be an interesting look there. SoFi, a little bit of a same kind of ticker. A lot of these tickers, I'm noticing, we're going through the volume leaders on the day. Everything's kind of held that VWAP. Sellers are definitely dominant in this market. You don't have to look very far to kind of realize that. Wow, rig as well. Let's take a look at Oxy. We know we were looking at oil yesterday. Wow, more continuation. A lot of them,
what you see there, Obi, sorry, I'm pointing at it like you guys can see what I'm pointing at, but you can see in a lot of the names that we constructed those lower highs.
Yeah.
Right, so on that second pop, and that's where you're referring to the kind of the VWAP seller stepping in and then just bringing it back. You get the elastic effect in the indicator, and then it just comes right back down. So yeah, that's a very valid point, guys. I just want to mention one thing before I send it back to you, Obi. I know a lot of you guys are trading options, etc. Just understand with this increase in volatility, I'm looking at the money IVs. You're paying out the yin yang for those premiums because of the implied volatility. So you're paying extremely more for those contracts because that implied volatility has increased there. I just wanted to add that there, Obi, so you can continue.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think that's important to consider. And again, I'm not really watching the options market as close as you are, but I'm sure today there's a lot of great opportunity. Things are going absolutely wild as well, right?
Why?
Especially when we get these gap downs and gap ups. Yeah, exactly.
It's the IV. That's where you'll get crushed. Like, see, one thing. So I think it's kind of like, you know, the reference in the housing market is the buyers, it's the sellers market, etc. The exact same thing happens in the options market. When we have heightened levels of volatility, you don't necessarily want to be buying options when we're at those peaks. That is a options sellers market. Why? Because what you're trying to, I guess, and I don't want to say anticipate, but what the overall goal is that you, as an option seller, you want to be able to collect the most amount of premium possible. all right? So with heightened volatility and the chance of it starting to dwindle as countries start to come out and say, hey, we're gonna hit the bargaining table, etc., what you have now done is you sold options at peak implied volatility, and that allows you to collect premium as that volatility starts to decay as well. So that's what you want. That is your goal when you are selling options. Now let's look at the inverse of that, okay? So if I were to be buying options at increased volatility markets, essentially what happens is you need that volatility to be sustained. Otherwise, day by day, as it dwindles and your underlying asset isn't appreciating as much as you would like, then you're going to be losing value in those contracts solely due, let alone to theta decay. And well, delta decay is a whole different story. That's charm, more or less. But as you continuously go day by day, as you are buying options, you're going to lose money to theta and the decrease and the decay in implied volatility. That's why heightened volatility are options sellers' dreams, especially when they have found the peak in the VIX or in the or in some underlying assets there, Obi. So there's my minute on my options minute rant.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thanks again to Joe for giving us that options wisdom there. Yeah, that's definitely not one of my strong suits, and I'm always learning from Joe with the options knowledge there. But yeah, no, Nike as of right now just kind of consolidating in and around that 58. XLY is holding, just consolidating on top of that VWAP, on top of its VWAP right now. Market's kind of trying to come back into that 18,000 here again. Like I said, it might be a little bit of a level of interest here, this 18,000, and we're kind of chopping around that as well. We saw that kind of happen around the 19 level as well, and some other prior levels as well. So let's see what we do. We're breaking up above it, so catching a little bit of a bid here. Is it a bid across the board? Perhaps, yeah, a little bit of a bid across the board coming in here. You can see both these futures kind of ticking up a little bit. Let's see how long this bid kind of lasts. Do we kind of sustain some of this downtrend that we've been having, or do we just kind of consolidate? Sometimes, sometimes when we've had very strong moves, maybe you get some continuation, maybe you get some strong moves off of the open, but I think consolidation is definitely always one of the options that might be on the table as well. And today could very much be a very consolidative day, as we did kind of gap a little bit decently, right? We sold out pretty decently in the overnight
just participants getting exhausted more or less, I think, at this point, right? Like eventually with the volatility, you'll see one side of the party eventually just be like, hey, we're exhausted, and then that will give the ability for the opposite side, whether it be the bears or the bulls, to start to take advantage. So in this case, what we're essentially looking for is exhaustive volume from a daily standpoint, all right? So we want to be able to identify those. We showed you through examples on Amazon and why we exactly took those swing trades. And then that's kind of going to be the game plan here. We got Apple down 4%. I'm going to take a look at my good friend Robinhood as well, because I started to slowly grab some shares. So we're going to grab some more, but Robinhood taking a beating as well too, Obi, down 10% on the session, 9.7 to be exact. So what can we do? We're going to start looking for those exhaustive volume signatures. We're going to be looking for those indecision candle prints on a daily perspective. And with that, that's going to give us the ability to base some trades off of it. And that's exactly what we're looking for. Never let a crisis go to waste is one of my favorite sayings. And I think that we're in those environments. I was talking to Sean this morning. I'm like, hey, man, I'm thinking of just going cash right now. I mean, a whole year of gains is essentially already wiped. So if I hold on to one of my largest holdings, which is doing perfectly fine, but now I'm just kind of back at ground zero. For me, if I do believe that we may see some lower prices in the future, I think that earnings is going to be really, really key. Q1 earnings is going to be extremely important. Those numbers may come out good. You might see those double beats. But what I'm really going to be paying attention to here, Obi, is the guidance. And if you see companies start pricing in guidance, hey, we're going to start to cut back a little bit here, here, and here, then you're going to see the market start to react in different ways, and you might be able to get your hands on even better positioning, and that's kind of what my game plan is. Can it go the total opposite way because we are slightly oversold? Absolutely, but what the market doesn't like more than bad news is uncertainty there, Obi.
Yeah, I think again, when there's uncertainty, another good thing about uncertainty is like I like a little bit of uncertainty in the price action because like where most people are not necessarily willing to transact, I definitely might be a little interested in those areas over time there. That's what I'm realizing. But yeah, no, I think that's something to watch out for. Again, I'm not seeing too many tickers in the chat, guys. Like throw up some tickers in the chat. We can take a look at those. Let me know what you guys are trading. You guys know what we're trading. You can see it there on the position board. So you can ask us about our positions as well if you would like. But I would love to know what you guys are trading on the day. Lots and lots of opportunity. Again, we only have what just between Joe and I. That's about 4 eyes, and that's not too many for the amount of opportunities that could potentially be plausible in this here market. So let me know. Intel saying Sebastian. All right, so let's take a quick look at Intel. I know I like Intel. I keep an eye on it every now and then. So let's see what Intel is up to as well. Oh boy. So Intel to the downside. Wow, nice little flushy action there off of that 21 there. So nice little continuation. So beautiful level hold there. A whole dollar hold as well. 21.04. That's coming in real nice. They're kind of holding this consolidation. Look at that flush. The only bid that kind of does show up off that morning flush kind of can't even hold above that 21.07. This high comes in, supply kind of steps right back in, and look at that beautiful kind of continuation happening there on Intel. So good stuff there, Sebastian. SMCI saying Jeremy. So let's take a quick look at SMCI as well. Yeah, seeing a little bit of a similar thing here, kind of continuation, but we were talking about this one, a little bit of a decent pullback here. 30 is the prior high right here as of right now, consolidating in and around this VWAP area at 29.41 on SMCI. I think you mean CSAI. Is this one even doing volume on the day? I don't think this one's doing much volume, so yeah, forget about that one for me. It's got a, yeah, exactly. Monty G saying Obi's turning on his chat scanner. Yeah, exactly. Anything for Cat. Let's see what Caterpillar is doing. Okay, all right. A little bit of a sideways chop. Opportunity definitely there. Strong legs, strong moves there on Caterpillar. Monty G saying TQs and Amazon. Yeah, Amazon, TQs I was involved with as well. Beautiful kind of a VWAP level hold there. 46 holds there at the lower high. That's been working real well. Amazon as well. You can see that 170, absolutely beautiful. This is getting me a little bit, a little bit interested in the reversion. Let's see if we, if we're gonna get legs. We get some legs on Amazon. I definitely want to be involved in between them here as they kind of chop. What is this range? 176 all the way to 170 here on this leg range here. So if this kind of comes in all the way even to VWAP, we're still holding that uptrend on the day. So that's something I do want to keep in mind and consider. So shout out to Monty G there for that Amazon shout out. But yeah, nice trades there. Lots of opportunity. You could have gone both ways on Amazon and still made a decent chunk and good trades to go around there. So yeah, that's kind of my run on that one there. Still kind of chopping this 18th out, man. I'm not really seeing anything too much. What are you saying?
Yeah, I'm just talking to some people in the chat, having some good conversations here, Obi. But I added a little bit to Apple here. So yeah, let's see if that can get working. A nice bounce, Obi. I like that you pointed out the Amazon print right at VWAP as well too on the 5-minute. That was absolutely, as you would say, that was really nice as it climbed higher. And I just didn't pull the trigger on that. I don't know about you, but these are the signals that Obi and I are looking for here on Amazon. So that's a double 1 minute. Why am I running a double 1 minute? But this is a print. So someone asked in the chat, Obi, and I pointed out Amazon and Apple for these types of signatures. This is what Gorev, Las Polios, and multiple individuals of traders are looking for. I'm pretty sure Gorev is in this trade here. So really good look, but that is an absolute magnificent print. That is an A++ setup. We didn't take it, but that's okay. Nice, strong opening drive as the market was really stuck in an indecision style of price action, but then Amazon continued to move higher and higher. And then on this pullback, you see the volume by time profile really start to slow down, and then you get this print right here, and then you crack through the high day. So that is a really A1 stuff. So Atul, thank you for that one. Stevenson, my guy, a great week this week, even though half of my day's gains are wiped off this day's rally on the TQs and on the SPY. but still managed to be green today and this week. Great lesson. No, great job there. Fantastic for you guys. Full disclosure, I'm red, but that's okay. Do you mean like go with a vertical spread? So, okay, so great question. So when I refer to writing options, that's exactly right. You've got the right idea. So what I'm referring to is doing call credit spreads in this instance, right? Or you can do on underlying assets, you can do bull put spreads. So exactly a vertical essentially, but write the vertical so your short option will always be first. So I guess so if we were to look at it from a call standpoint, you're going to want to have that at the lower strike, and then your long call is going to be at the higher strike, and then the inverse with or on the put side, right? So if you're going to be selling the put, you want that strike to be higher, and then you want to buy a little bit lower, and that will construct a net credit into your account. And that's and kind of that's what I'm looking for. I'm not going to tell you make sure you have stops in place. Writing options is a different world, and you have to be really familiar and comfortable with it. I would suggest that you don't start with such volatile assets, even though the VIX is increased. Start really small, only start with a couple contracts, and most definitely when you are writing, make sure that you have those stops in place, whether it be a 2-to-1, a 3-to-1 in that stop factor, all right? So make sure you take those into consideration, because you can take hefty losses when you are writing options and you do not have stops in place. This is what we got going on with Apple. We're chopping around here now, Obi. We did add right here as we climbed higher off of that 5-minute hammer. Yeah, sorry, 1 second. So what we'll do here is we're going to go through this, and that's where I added, and we're going to take some off here. Let's see what Adair is up to.
It's time for happening now, and actually quite a lot happening in this market today. NASDAQ bowed back down 4% to the downside. To recap, of course, we had China this morning with these 34% retaliatory tariffs marked to the downside. Market got a massive pop, especially retailers. After Charles Gasparino, frequent Fox News contributor, posted on X that Scott Bessent, Treasury Secretary, is quietly trying to moderate Donald Trump's tariff efforts behind the scenes. And then now the market back to the downside here. Fed Chair Jerome Powell making some, I would say, cautious comments on the economy, saying that the Fed does not need to be in a hurry, which a comment that was actually questioned by some reporters here at this event. He said that inflation will be moving up, but it's a little bit unclear what the monetary policy path should be. One thing he emphasized, though, that I think is of utmost importance, he said that he found these tariffs to be significantly larger than what the Fed was pricing in. So that means the economic outlook will likely, or the economic impact, sorry about that, will likely be a little bit larger than they were expecting as well. Here is AREB. This is a small cap named American Rebel, really strong today. If you're looking for some upside moves, small caps have been providing those as of late. And here is RH, one of many retailers that popped on this tariff-related report from Charles Gasparino. RH actually halted a little bit here, nicely to the upside, and they actually, it is worth noting, dropped about 40% yesterday at the close. So retailers certainly bouncing here. Keep an eye on this market. Fed Chair Powell still getting asked some questions, a lot of which are not market related. He was just asked what his purple ties, but be aware he is still speaking, and we're going to send you back to Neil and his lesson of the day.
Well, we're in a different market, everybody. So your lesson of the day is going to take you back to, we got to think about 2008. We got to think about 2020 with COVID. We have to think about these market crashes and the behaviors and the actions that worked around them. I'll tell you right now, there's a misnomer about 2008 specifically in the financial crisis for day traders, at least from my experience. And the assumption was that everybody just only made money coming in and shorting every single day, which was a little bit true to an extent, but there was a good portion of that time. Well, I'll tell you right now, locates weren't out there. There were bans on certain stocks being able to short sell, and some of your best opportunities were longs. But here's the rub. You usually get one shot, maybe two, at a good long, and you had to sniper in, and you had to be very particular about the type of long that you were taking. Like, you couldn't be just sort of averaging down into something. You really had to get that sniper turnaround, which means you had to be willing to miss the trade to make the trade. Now, today, there was that type of a bottom. I don't know that I'm in full 2008 mode. Let's be real about it. So my entries probably weren't that great off the low, even though they worked. But if you looked at where the SPY was, and we'll talk about capitulation bombs, the kind of thing that you usually were looking for in 08 and 2020 is the level that we saw the SPY scream from today. You go all the way back to our last panic, that's August 6th on this chart here. And everyone remembers August 6th, the yen carry trade unwinds. That's not my chart. There we go. There is the August 6th low. Now, the higher low that got put in, this is what we tested overnight. And we had bounced off that level. So immediately, technically, okay, when we're flushing, we're respecting those levels. So when we came into this bottom, I know you guys have been following the market all day long, obviously, so you have an idea of what it looked like at that low. Now, I'm not saying you sit out in front of that bid, but you want an execution strategy. Now, generally speaking, what I like to look at is something along these lines. There's the trend line break, there's your close above, there's your long, there's your play. The idea that you're going to just go long into it, okay, fine. If you go long into this and it holds, which it did, you're laughing. But in 08, if you did that in 08 and this broke, you're getting slipped and you're destroyed and you're taking a headshot. So like I said, willing to miss the trade to make the trade. Now, I didn't necessarily trade the SPY on this. I'll show you, this is what same principle. This was the long on Intel when we had that bounce. There's our trend break. There's our consolidation. There is my tight stop in case things get bad, so you're not slipped. There's most out of VWAP and a trail when it breaks trend. And I did the same thing in IBIT as well. So IBIT, I got a much better entry on IBIT. Why? Because I liked IBIT for a long all day, and IBIT was one of the few, Bitcoin was one of the few things that didn't break yesterday's low. So you were trend trading down, you broke it out, was able to get into that one a little bit earlier, get out to VWAP, wait for the high of the day there. I was in way more scalp mode. This is a breakout trade, so like if I take a trade on a trend break, I tend to hold to levels. If I take a breakout, I'm jamming out of breakout trades. But those scalp trades are very, very different when you're taking it on a trend break. So we do give it past VWAP because it just trended to the high of the day. But that's look, if this is the environment we're in for a longer period of time, then that level of wait for it, wait for it, wait for it, and panic is required, unless you're just riding a short in that moment. And I'll get to that in a quick second. So if you're not riding a short and you're waiting for that one opportunity, it's like, there's my one chance, just cue Eminem music or whatever it might be. Know what you're looking, what you need to see as leading indicator. Maybe it's a support level on the SPY or the Qs. Maybe it's, maybe it's a top on the VIX and you're looking for the curl there for your confluence. I don't care what it is, but the second you see your signal, you get the one shot, you give yourself that tight stop, and know that when we rally off it in that type of environment, they can be really, really good. Because mean reversions are exceptionally fantastic in a very volatile market. However, trading off of those same levels, if you don't have sniper vision or dead right, can be very tricky. It's difficult to average in an environment like this. You want that one sniper entry if you can. And as it should work both ways, and I'd be remiss if I didn't at least point out that sometimes the better thing to do if the market is tanking is to revert a short, and that does work as well. Probably should have been long at Amazon. That's will sort of fail because I never got the VWAP long on Amazon. But at the end of the day, like I said, if we're in this for the long haul, longish haul, you might have to change your execution strategies. Now, I already like trend lines. I already like trend breaks. I started out doing that when I was a trader before I got into penny stocks. So that was like my foundation over 20 years ago. So for me, it's like easy leaning in. I was never one that liked the averaging aspect of it. But there's a time and place and a time and a place for each kind of execution strategy. And you got to know the market environment you're in. It's pretty obvious the last couple of days what we're looking at here. So it's okay to sit there and not do anything for a long period of time and then just try to take one shot. That's what you have to wrap your head around, because that's how people made money in 08. I'll tell you, they took their shot, and if you got the perfect entry, you let it ride till key levels. But you were also willing to get out very, very fast, because if you're wrong early and trying to fight it in this type of a market, it's just going to be a headshot. And before I throw you guys back, just to prove like, hey, I only showed you guys wins, anybody that sits on this floor or trades at Real Trading and is known the head office, everybody knows that I market make on buyouts. I did not adjust my strategy on that side of my trading this morning and almost got headshotted today. because I didn't make that adjustment. So I'm not just here talking about the mean reversion trades that did work. I'm telling you that in a certain aspect of my trading, I did not make the adjustment and barely got away with it, thankfully. I was real close. But I'll tell you right now, everybody out there, regardless of how this plays out, at least in the short term, we're in an environment like the COVID volatility, we're in an environment like the '08 volatility, so you've got to be able to respect that. Adjust your execution strategy based on that. You don't have to throw out your levels. You don't have to throw out your entire plan. You just have to worry about the way that you're getting into trades and where you're setting those stops. So be careful, everybody. There's so much opportunity out there. Don't be mad if you're red. I mean, almost everybody that experiences this type of market for the first time, you're going to lose the first time. That's just straight up how it is. So it's all about getting better, and the hope the lesson of the day helps. I'm going to eat some dry chicken right now.
Oh, no, man. Oh, my day.
Yeah, no, you definitely have to be nimble in this market. So thank you, Neil, for that great advice there. Yeah, don't want to get headshotted. That's for sure as well. Anything can come out with some sort of news in this market, and boom, like Rip City, either to the upside or to the downside. You never know, right? And yeah, reversions as well, absolutely beautiful, right? Like when things are at high increased levels of volatility. Yeah, definitely going to be watching out for some reversions. Reversion playbooks definitely coming in pretty nicely on when the VIX is pretty high as well. But yeah. I'm getting used to it as well. I'm kind of going through the motions. And yeah, it is definitely not easy, and even though sometimes it can be pretty straightforward. That's the thing. That's what I'm finding. So how's your day going so far? I see that you're on the Apple.
Yeah, well, it's been a rough one. I told you about it earlier. Same with yesterday as well, too, but that's all right. We'll get back on. Yeah, I was going over some of my monthly stats here, OB, so... Yeah, we got some things to clean up. There's no questioning that, but not overly worried about it. We'll get the train rolling once again. So yeah, we'll get that playmaker poll up here momentarily there, guys. So we still got the other poll up, but I know Adara's been covering this stuff all day. But Trump has constructive call with Vietnam lifting Nike and others. So on Wednesday, Trump's slapped Vietnam with a 46% tariff there, guys, claiming the Asian country charges the USA rate of 90% when included currency manipulation and trade barriers. So Trump said Vietnam wants to cut their tariffs down to zero. So there you go. That's a positive sign already, bringing people to the negotiation table already. And that's what we want to see. And that's what I was referring to earlier, is that are they going to be stuck at the percentage that we see them right now at the end of the year? No, I don't think so. I think this is more of a negotiation tactic. How's your Nike shirt going there, Obi?
Yeah, no, I got eyes on this market here. Amazon with a little bit of a retest of its high of day there. I gotta kind of remove this wick here so we can see the chart a little bit better here. Let's see which one is the outlier here. This wick goes all the way to 195. Oh boy, that's definitely not true here. I gotta click. I gotta zoom in a little bit and then click on this one right here. And boom, there's the 190. So we can just make that 177. I think we'll be okay for now. Yeah, there it is. So a little bit of a better perspective of said chart. Here you can see that we're pulling back up into that 178. So still, we traded above this high, this prior high here, and you can see now we're just consolidating at the highs there. So yeah, Amazon relatively strong. You can see we kind of talked about how it is one of the only Mag 7s that's showing this kind of relative strength as of right now. So definitely one to keep an eye on and one to watch out for is that Amazon. But yeah, let me know in the chat what you guys are watching. What you guys are trading. Let's see, Arab tap. Okay, so look at Lulu. Okay, I can take a quick look at Lulu as well and see what's going on here with Lulu. Okay, so Lulu kind of a same kind of story here. I guess I'm trading the same kind of trade here on Nike. A lot of these consumer tickers bidding up on some tariff news as well. Definitely a little bit of a counter trend on my part here, as again the sector seems to be holding up pretty well. XLY is what I'm watching here. Consumer consumer discretionary right here. So you can see a little bit of a hold on that VWAP as we push a little bit. We catch a little bit of a bid as of right now. So keeping it on watch. But yeah, let us know what you guys are trading. And yeah, did you have, coming into today, when you hear about like tariffs and you're just like, all right, well, you know, in certain countries, did you have specific names, specific businesses in mind coming into the day today? Maybe being like, okay, well, that business might be more affected than others on the day, and I might want to be involved with that one. Did you?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think that was Amazon for me, right?
Okay.
Discretionary. Brings in things from all over the world, so now those are going to be taxed. Is Amazon, and I want to ask you this, do you believe that Amazon is a necessity or more of a privilege?
What do you mean, like for the consumer?
Yeah.
I think, I don't know, it's a little bit of a little bit of both, because it does give you the convenience of you know, like ordering something, having it there for you by tomorrow. It's definitely a little bit, it's very, very convenient, right? And that's why they make the big bucks, because they've provided that kind of service, service to people, right? So yeah, I don't know if it's a necessity necessarily, but it does save you a lot of time. I think it potentially has become a necessity for a lot of people. I can definitely say that for sure. But yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of
just like a grocery store would be a necessity for a lot of people as well, right? So it's
yeah. Well, that I can. That's a staple for sure. Yeah, I agree with you on that. Gorav says privilege. A lot of people say it's a necessity. It's about a mixed bag there, so maybe we'll get that poll up there momentarily. But yeah, that's a good question, I think, there, Obi. And to answer yours more, I think Amazon was something that I would be definitely looking at, and then some retail spaces, like how you have the eyes on Nike there too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. That's definitely what I was looking at. Yeah, guys, so we got this poll up here. Make sure you get those votes in. Let's see who's winning this. Tesla thus far, 41%. Good look there. We're going to get the Playmaker poll up momentarily and start getting those votes in. So, yeah, good luck there, guys. Let's see what everybody else thinks. Yeah, AWS is exactly, right? I am Carter. That is very important. Amazon Web Services is definitely the breadwinner. I agree with you on that front. Netflix should not be affected by tariffs. So I wonder why. Yeah, that's a great point as well too, and that's what I was thinking with the likes of Meta, exactly. So Amazon groceries, a lot of people are referring to, but again, I think you can just go to the store and get those. But yeah, let's take a look at MSTR and see what's going on. Apple's starting to come in here, guys, rejecting the volume weighted average price, running into some support levels, which I think are really important. Before we touch on some of the other names, so you can see we just got a little app, but now we're running into this shelf here and starting to break through this. The volume on the lower time frames is definitely starting to dwindle as well. So let's see if this is just going to be a liquidity grab and then you take that additional leg higher. But one thing to note here, Obi, is that in a lot of these names, we are constructing that lower high. So you can see opening drive really strong here in Apple. We punch through view up, and then now we can't break through this downtrend here, and now running through some key support levels heading to the downside. So that is it right there. We got the Playmaker pull up. Obi, are you voting short or long today?
On this here market?
On the Playmaker poll.
I mean, if I were to be a trend follower, which I try to do sometimes, I would probably go short.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Following the trend that's already been
making it
happening.
simple.
Yeah.
The path of least resistance.
Yes.
That's I think that's kind of the way it is.
There.
Going there exactly. You don't want to make it.
Oh boy, there goes XLY dumping into its VWAP. That's a little bit of a pullback there. Oh boy, let's see if Nike and some of these other retail names pull in as well. We kind of pull back off of that 18,000. So the futures are trading a little bit lower here as we pull into that noon hour right now here. So 58s we're trading below here on Nike. And yeah, let's see if the futures can print some fresh lows on the day, or do we just kind of continue to chop a little sideways? So no idea, right? Still trading within that range. Haven't really done anything too crazy as of right now either way, right? A lot of volatility we're seeing on individual names for the most part, and maybe catalyst driven names as well, obviously on watch. Yeah, no, other than that, let me know what sectors you guys had on watch. I know a lot of people were watching oil, maybe some commodities. I know that gold was pushing some fresh highs as of recent as well. So we can take a quick look at gold and see what that's up to right now. Gold here, yeah, we can go to the commodity and just take a quick look at what gold is up to. Again, all-time highs very, very recently, right? Let's go straight up to 1 week here. 1 week on gold. Boom, look at that. 3167 is that high on gold, all-time high, if I'm not mistaken there. But yeah, you can see that on a 15-minute chart. We've been taking a little bit of a pullback here on the day off of those highs. We kind of made those highs, when is this? Wednesday evening around 8 p.m. So just a couple nights ago there, gold pushed some fresh highs back down to that 3,000 level as of right now, just printing that 3,026.50 as of right now on gold. So a nice little push there. I know that a lot of people trade GLD as well. GLD one to keep an eye on. You can see, look at that nice little flush off of the open. So getting that continuation to the downside alongside with that gold move is GLD on the day. So yeah, a little bit of a push there. But yeah, let me know if are you guys involved. Jameson saying SMR. Yeah, let's take a quick look at SMR here on the day. Again, these are those nuclear reactor tickers here. SMR, small modular reactors. So this one a little bit to the downside here. Kind of a bigger picture trade. These names have been selling off a little bit after their moves over the past few months there on the day. And I think IONQ also selling off on the day here as well. Let's take a quick look at QBTS and QUBT also selling off. QUBT. So yeah, some strong selling across the board on some of those names that were moving pretty aggressively. Yeah, now maybe taking a little bit of a pullback right now.
Yeah, yeah, valid point there, guys. A lot of people pointing out some good names here as well too, Obi. American Rebel Holdings, this thing's starting to really start soar here on the session. So we're over, wow, okay, that is crazy. This is definitely Sharif's world. So we open up at 7 and then we climb to about a high of 1678, putting us at 112% return here intraday, guys. Let's take a look at some of these pre-market lows because we're trading at $2 this morning and then we climb all the way up to 17. Like I said before, so 300% on that front. So Tisha, I know Tisha has been trading that one, and a lot of individuals in the chat have been calling that out. So good work there. And then my buddy there, beer producer in the chat, was talking about Snapchat there. Obi saying, hey, Gen Z is using it. I personally still use it. It's the only social media platform that I essentially have on my phone. Do you have Instagram?
I do.
Okay, you have Instagram. Do you have X obviously as well too?
Yes, I use X a lot. Yeah.
Okay, so as for like social media, I'm only on Snap. I use X here on the show and at the computer, but on my phone I only have that one social media platform. So yeah, this is a good look here. Still waiting on some more of this TikTok news because if it does get banned here in the States, it's going to benefit, I believe, Instagram and Snapchat. So that is, yeah, that's a good look. It's trading really well. Nice indecision print at these lows. So positive look there on Snapchat and AREB. Those are really good traders here on the day. That is definitely Sharif's world, AERB, considering it's up 300%. We had a pre-market low of $2, and then now it's trading around $17. So that's a really good look on that front. We got out of this Apple trade here as well, too, guys. So you can see that we entered on that hammer, took some off, added, got a little bit out there, and then just as soon as we broke that support level, I just got out of the trade because it looks like the market is going to want to go and test some of these lows, Obi. Yes. And what did I do when I'm like, oh, okay, we're continuing to sell off here. What is that next level on the options chain? What are they telling me, and where can we find some possible levels of support? And what I'm seeing right now here, Obi, is at 510 on today's expiration cycle, April 4th, on the SPY, 510, 13,000 open contracts. Let's see if we can hold that base. We already put in a low of 510.25 roughly, right? So we've already held up that level. That's acting as support. Let's see if it can come into play once again.
Yeah, this bid is coming in pretty aggressive here on Nike, so distinctly different from the rest of the market, which continues to sell off pretty aggressively here. You can see that Amazon taking a little bit of a pullback, so we did pull back pretty aggressively off of that 18,000 there. 17,800 coming into play as of right now here on the NQ, and then yeah, what is that on? So we just got below that 5,200 as well on the ES. So something to watch out for. We're printing fresh lows, so the selling is coming in on a few of these names in the market, but some names distinctly different. Again, you can see some of these consumer discretionaries continuing to catch a little bit of a bid, looking distinctly different. So yeah, it seems like it's very obvious where some of the buying is going in this market, and money maybe selling or coming out of some other things as well. So a lot of panic potentially. The fear index, like you said earlier, right? Definitely on watch on the day today. So.
Yeah, valid point there. Obi, we got another $5, oops, wrong one, $5 super chat from Kiara K. A prophecy from the Holy Spirit. Okay, I've said this for weeks. We will see the biggest stock crash in history. America will do well long term. God bless. Okay, I mean, I don't know about in history. The Great Depression was pretty hectic. I don't know if we're gonna compare some reciprocal tariffs to that, some tariff news. We are pricing those things in there. Obi, I don't know how you think about that. Do you think it's going to be the biggest stock market crash in history?
I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? I think that definitely you got to stay open. Right?
What is? Okay, now I gotta. Okay, now I gotta type this into my good friend here, Copilot. What is the largest crash in?
I think today we're contesting one of the larger drawdowns. I think, yeah, for sure.
What compared to COVID?
Yeah.
Today. So all right, the largest stock market crash in history, widely considered to be the Wall Street crash of 1929, also known as the Great Crash. Let's see, the industrial average loses nearly 89% of its value and peaks September 29 to its lowest point in 1932. So let's see if that is, so 89%. I don't know if we're going to get down an 89% there in the Dow Jones there. I don't know how you feel about that, brother.
No, I don't think. Well, we'll see. You never. Like I said, I'm gonna keep an open mind there, and just try to go with the flow as best as possible, and try to make the best decisions. Right. Whenever I get myself in a sticky situation, I find myself there because I might not have been making the best decisions on the day on it. But you know, it is what it is. We kind of learn. We move
Nike?
on. No, just in general on Nike, a little bit, maybe a little bit here on Nike as well. But you know, I got inventory that I kind of liked. I'm kind of gonna let it work here. Maybe risking a little too much, but I'll let that trade kind of maybe come into fruition. This market's coming in real hot to the downside, man. Oh boy, yeah, that's some aggressive kind of pulling in. So 17.7's now coming into question here on the Nasdaq. It seems like the ES wants to make a run for its day low. That's where we got a little bit of a bid right off of the open. You can see here on that 9 this was about 10:45 it seems here on this chart. So yeah, maybe we caught a bid off of there. Let's see if that bid kind of comes in here as we accelerate to the downside back into some of those areas where we might have found some demand on the day. So I'm going to be patient. I'm watching. I'm waiting. Just letting this Nike kind of just do it here and consolidate. So consolidating much higher. So maybe not the best look for me. Trying to revert it back into VWAP. But again, I'm going to stay a little bit patient here. Market's coming in real nice. Let's see if that bid shows up, Joe.
Yeah. Good luck there, Obi. So let's see if you can start to pull back here. One thing I was noting, that's why I was reading it to you too, Obi, is that Vietnam dropping those tariffs. So that could be a strong bullish case, I guess, for Nike. It is holding up really, really well here.
Yeah.
So let's see if that starts to break down as the market is coming in. We'll pull up Nike here real quick because I know Obi's been covering it. And I want to take a look at it briefly here too. It's still negative on the day though, surprisingly. So again, forming kind of this bullish flag here type price action, nice compression pattern. But I think what Obi and I are going to be looking for here is some indecisions at this peak. Oh, so it's still it went positive. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Positive 5.5%. We're going to be looking for some indecision prints at these highs and look for that move back to VWAP there. So that's a good look. It can definitely come into play, Obi, because the market is really, really weak. I mentioned high levels of OI on the SPY. Let's see if 510 holds up, and then we can maybe get a bounce there. NVDA is all the way down to $93. I was talking to my good buddy Greg V the other day, and I'm like, can we get into possibly like the high 80s in this name? And I'm curious to know in the chat, are you guys going to be buying NVDA at these levels, right? We're down 8% today, and we've been putting in these almost these double-digit sessions quite often for the past couple of days here in NVDA, going from a high of about 106 to a low of just around 100 here on NVDA yesterday, and then now opening up at around, sorry, let me pull up my crosshairs to see. So we open up around 102, and then now we're south of that, about $93. So yeah, let me know. Are you guys, is NVIDIA attractive to you at these prices, or are you gonna just wait for things to continue to cool off? Do you remember when Neil says you don't need? No, I don't remember that, to be honest with you. So Tisha Perkins, ARB has been really open chart with no significant levels up to the 200 EMA. 54, not saying it gets there, but with the micro float, okay, so that's good. So a lot of float rotation. How is it moving? We have room. Let's go. Nice work there, Tisha. As always, are you waiting for pharma tariffs, or how do you feel? I mean, not necessarily pharma tariffs. I want to see how a lot of these countries react. Once you get to those negotiation tables, everybody starts talking more, and the chances of some of these tariffs being reduced, I think it's there, and we'll wait for that news to come out, and we'll be able to see that within the market price action as well too. So the more countries that are like, hey, let's start talking about it, let's hit the negotiation table and come to a solution, I think we'll be able to find a market bounce there for sure, Obi.
Yeah, I think that's definitely something to watch out for here. So a lot of people talking about Nvidia. I'm seeing a lot of Nvidia here in the chat, so we can take a quick look at Nvidia and see what that ticker is up to on the day today. Again, we kind of talk about the VWAP sellers being in charge, and it seems like we're seeing a little bit more of the same here on the day. 96 is that VWAP currently, and we're seeing kind of lower highs, lower lows. That lowest low of the day, that low a day right there, coming in at 92.11. That was a sharp little drop there, and a beautiful kind of, maybe some would call it a little capitulatory there, and we get that bid right back up into VWAP. Nice little reversion, about just over 50% of a reversion there, back up into VWAP. So interesting action there, but coming right back in. Again, these futures are heavy. Sellers have been stepping in and stepping down as well over the past few days, as well as over the past couple of weeks at the very least. So I think, again, that is something definitely that I want to keep in mind. And with uncertainty, like Joe was saying earlier, with tariffs and everything, yeah, maybe there is some selling that can potentially be coming in, and we're seeing some of that selling coming in, and maybe potentially confirming that bigger picture action and move on these markets. But yeah, we were just talking about this last week. I think we've been bidding up pretty nicely for the past 2 years, right? Yeah. And you were talking about, oh, is the market poised for a big correction? Maybe. Who knows? I don't know. But you got to remember, every few years you get that 10, 15, 20, 30% correction. Yeah. Yeah, that's more than healthy in the bigger picture, in the long term as well. So
yeah, I agree with you, Obi. Yeah, I agree with you on that front. I mean, we can't just go up all the time, right? Like it would be.
Stocks only go up.
Yeah, but I mean,
maybe on 6 and 12 month charts.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you're gonna have some correction, and but it's good to see that people in the chat, they're like, hey, yeah, a lot of people chiming in on the NVDA front. They're like, hey, yeah, I'm waiting at 80s. I grabbed a little bit more, 25% more in the account. So people are finding it attractive at these levels. So that's a really positive sign. So So let's see what we got going on in the chat. Adrian Dotman, what's going on? Hey, Joseph, do you think it makes sense to buy call options on these Meg 7s like 3 or 4 months from now, buying calls out of the money, like 15%, depending on the stock? Yeah, so what I was referring to earlier is that just be aware that you are going to be paying a heightened premium, right? Because the volatility has increased, and with that, you're going to be paying IV. So, and as IV starts to decay, if the market does want to rebound, that can also hinder the value of those contracts unless the underlying is really, really appreciating. I was referring to selling options, like writing some puts. Like I like maybe to write some puts potentially on Hood here and create a bull put spread. Like a week out or so, because those premiums are pretty nice. So if we put in a base here around 34, exactly what we're trading around roughly, and we go to those 10 deltas, we can still collect some half decent change here. And if you're constructing the spread, like you're collecting just under $50 a contract on that, which isn't horrible. So if you were to do combinations and like a $5 spread, you can still collect the majority of that. So what was I looking at? The 34s, we'll go to the 29s. So yeah, I mean, you can definitely, but just be wary that if you are buying, you are going to be paying for that implied volatility. So let's see what everybody else is going on. I know there was another options question here. I have a couple Tesla 220 puts, expiration 4/11. Bought them a couple weeks ago and cashed one option in earlier today for 165% profit. I held the other couple. Opinion if you think Tesla tanks. I mean, it sounds like you know what you're doing so far. Is Tesla going to climb lower? We'll take a look at it from a daily perspective here, Obi, just to see what we got going on. And are we headed towards some of those support levels? That's the 5-minute on Tesla. Let's zoom out to the day. 220 by next Friday. I mean, we're not too far, and you know what Tesla can can be like, how it trades, especially in heightened volatility markets. It's nothing for it to put in a $20, $30 day, whether it be negative or positive. Can we get there? Maybe, but that's right at this support level. What we can do here, Obi, is take a look at the chain on next week's expiration cycle to see what the market is telling us here, and what is 220 telling us. There is quite some. There's 6,700 open contracts right there. But as for getting through that, I mean, it doesn't look like there's too much resistance. So that's what I would look at. Just build a plan, a thesis on what you're going to go, what you're going to do. 167. There you go, Obi. You're getting that dump in the market. Nice work there. So yeah, just build up that trade plan. Could you get there? Very much possibly. But again, locking in some of those gains is good. Show them what you got going on there. That
Nike flushes right into its anchored view up and then bids right back up there. So I got to see what is that kind of low is. Down to 66s, oh boy, and then instant bid right back up into 55, 58. That's pretty aggressive there. The bid potentially coming in. Wow, this could be pretty nasty here. Market came down into that 17.7 mark there, and yeah, so got to keep an eye on this one here as that volatility again coming back into these here markets, and Nike giving us that's a really strong shake and bake there, back down to the downside. Wow, we actually went down to 57. What's that low there? Right into the anchored. So it seems like there are definitely players that are defending this this anchored view up off of the event. The low is 66. I have the anchored sitting at 69. That's 57.69 there here on Nike. So wow, what a move there. And yeah, just sometimes it's crazy. People just just flash into the bid, and then maybe there's a strong bid just sitting there, and they're like, this is a great price, wipe it right back up. And yeah, that was a wild move there. So I'm kind of watching here and waiting to see what happens next. But yeah, that was definitely a little significant, maybe potential bid showing here on Nike. So the market's taking a little bit of a bounce as well, so got to keep an eye on that. Let me know in the chat what you guys are trading. Again, going to be more than glad to go over some of those tickers here. Amazon still trending to the upside. Tesla downtrend still happening. TQ's downtrend still happening. Alphabet still trading sideways, so pretty crazy there on that one. A lot of things kind of directional, and some of these Mag 7s not really doing much, just trading sideways and doing a little bit of nothing there. Man, that bid was aggressive. That's Sometimes, again, this happened to me yesterday as well. Like we were talking about that moment, like it comes in real fast. You go down to the second chart, and that price action happened within a few seconds, and then was corrected right away with the bid flashing right back up over 30, 40 pennies on a ticker like Nike. So definitely showing a little bit of demand on top of that 57.5, it would seem, here on Nike. But XLY I'm watching as well. XLY is trading below its VWAP. It has been trending a little bit lower here, so that's, I guess, potentially a good sign there for maybe a reversion. But maybe that's all she wrote. If this came in about 50%, right? So I got to keep that in mind and keep that in consideration as well. Nike pretty much gave me the move that I was looking for down to its anchored, and it bid right back up within a second. So I was like, all right, well, I'm going to be a little bit patient here. It's seeming like the trade is pretty much done now, though.
Yeah, I'm frozen here, Obi, so we'll have to.
Boy.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for it to
Okay,
kind of reload here.
Yeah,
so
no worries.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I can go on with a couple of things here. It looks like, so essentially you can see here, guys, what I'm looking at on NVDA is that we potentially have the inability to construct a new low. So that could be a good sign here as the market grabs a little bit of a bounce. One thing to just note from a strength standpoint is that IBIT is holding up relatively strong here, and that's a really, really positive signal for Bitcoin itself. So going to be patient and wait. Neil had some really, really good trades on it. I actually took a couple attempts here and just got like stopped out by a penny, and that's why I usually don't use hard stops, Obi. It's because I just find that they get hunted. But I'm good with sticking with mentals. All right, let's see what Adara's up to.
I just want to mention here, more companies reportedly delaying their plans for IPOs. We know Klarna, and with Wall Street Journal earlier reporting that Klarna is one of them here that has already decided to delay its IPO. Again, just a report at this point. But also now we're hearing that other companies reportedly delaying their IPOs are Chime, Circle Financial, and Hinge. So lots of these companies on watch to IPO this year reportedly delaying this process as we have some tariff uncertainty. That was at least what was attributed for the Klarna IPO delay. Back to you.
Yeah, thank you for that, Adara. So yeah, a nice look here in Bitcoin. I see some people chiming in on the chat saying they still don't necessarily love it, and that's okay. But one thing, yeah, exactly, that's all right. We can't always like everything, can we, Ovi? But here we go. So that I mean, if we crack through this here on spot itself, on the actual underlying, then I could definitely see us heading back into the middle of this range here. So that could be a tough signal, but we're holding up pretty strong. I do like that we are constructing those higher lows. That's a positive signal. There is a lot of resistance, overhead resistance, that we do need to get through. You can see that we have this kind of cooking up, and price is really starting to compress. So now for me, it's just a matter of which way are we going to break, right? Like, so, and that's thing that I wanted to note as well too. And I was thinking about just a simplistic shower thought is okay, now that the institutions have the ability to hedge Bitcoin, and I was listening to analysts saying, does this affect the volatility of it? And as of now, my answer is going to be yes, because I don't think Bitcoin has been putting in as volatile sessions as it used to about a year or so ago, or a year or two ago, right? So I don't know how you feel about that, Obi, but you can definitely see it's slightly more tamed than what it was before.
No, I think the thing with Bitcoin and a lot of these speculative assets is like the volatility comes and goes. It is kind of cyclical as well. Even in something like Bitcoin, again, it's had those 50, 60, 70% drops in the past. If you go look at some of that relative price action, so volatility comes and goes. There are times where Bitcoin is pretty much very, very much dead, right? It's not really doing too much, and then there are times where it's going crazy volatile. It's making moves overnight, and yeah, those are the times where potentially it can be in play, and those are the times you might want to have eyes on it as well. But the other times, yeah, it might be difficult to kind of trade, difficult to kind of really extract anything out of if it's not necessarily in play. But again, in play it can have a lot of different definitions, and it really depends. It's very subjective to you and your own playbook as well, right? So do you have the data? Do you have the edge? Do you have the idea that will work in that specific kind of scenario in that market, then yeah, definitely things can be very eventful here. Eventful, this market a little bit here on the day, but as of right now, not really doing too much, just chopping around, man. Like I still got eyes on a few things. I'm not doing anything too crazy here, but yeah, let us know if you guys are seeing anything too crazy. The VIX has kind of settled down here. A lot of this price action has started to settle down on the day. Nothing too crazy. We're not really getting continuations. We're getting more sideways chop than anything. So maybe we're just waiting for the last couple of hours of the trading day. Again, it is a Friday, and we've had a pretty epic week, if I do say so myself here in the market. So again, I'm curious to know how we close. How does this week candle at the end of the week? How does that weekly candle close? It should be interesting to find out and see. Aura Alpha saying, "Are we breaking the bottom?" Well, I don't know, man. I have no idea if we're breaking any bottoms here. But yeah, but things are consolidating sideways, right? That's what I'm seeing. Right. We're attempting to try to get to the bottom of both the ES and the NASDAQ. Not quite there just yet, but again, kind of trending down, so maybe we're poised to come in for a little bit of a test and knock on the door of that low a day there. But there are tickers that are trading at their low a day. If you look at Softy's at low a day there. Softy, again, for the past couple of days was relatively much stronger.
Yeah.
Right, and today it's showing a little bit more action that's more in line with the futures here, as the futures trade near their lows there. That's distinctly different from something like a Google or like an Amazon. Google's trading pretty much sideways there. Amazon's trading near its highs. Nvidia trading roughly near its lows, but yeah, that wick up was pretty nice as well. But yeah, there's some selling coming in. Oh boy, what are we doing around here? That Nike's coming into its anchored again. So
is it?
I'm curious to know, are buyers still defending this level? That wick earlier was pretty nasty there. That was a low of 66s. We're trading 66s on the bid as of right now. Let me pull up. Oh boy, let me pull up the book for you guys here so you guys can follow along on Nike. Nike is a nicey ticker. So. Not so nice here as it breaks down a little bit further, 57.60s as of right now. Let's see if we can get down to VWAP. VWAP's at 55.94 here on this charting platform. And here on the P Pro, I have it at 56 and some change, so 56.09. So let's see if Nike can just do it and get all the way to VWAP, making a little bit of a run for that level as of right now. So I'm going to stay patient. XLY, thank you very much for playing. It is reverting a little bit there as well. So let's see how well this reversion can potentially come in. Markets, again, testing that low day. So maybe we are poised for some breaking of bottoms there.
Yeah, very valid point. Yeah, let me know whenever you guys are ready there. We'll get that rolling. But as for Softy, just looking at it on from a daily standpoint there, Obi, not looking too good. Like we're back to, let's see what levels we're back to here. All right, cool. So yeah, we'll get back to Microsoft, do some TA on that. But guys, foremost, unlock, oh no, we're on works. Okay, I'm on the wrong, okay, I don't have that there. Okay, here we go. We'll pull this up. Worksport introducing a new discovery on the NASDAQ. Worksport, ticker WKSP. Worksport is a U.S.-based manufacturer and rapidly expanding with growing revenues, government contracts, and innovative green energy products designed to power your life off-grid. Whether you're on the move or seeking sustainable energy solutions, Worksport has you covered. Now trading on the NASDAQ under WKSP, discover the future of clean energy with Worksport. There you go.
Thank you very much.
There it is, Worksport. Yeah. Yeah, so back to Microsoft here. Like, I mean, Obi, we're going back to November of 2023 levels here.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty tough look. Let's see how many days exactly that has been. So yeah, 511 days. We've now retraced quite a bit. I think investors were just worried about AI spend, et cetera, and what they have going on with Mr. Sam Altman himself. But again, just like this is not a good look for Microsoft, one of the third largest companies on the planet, to be exact there, Obi. So yeah, really, the dead money for over a year here.
On Softy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think that when money's dead in some places, when tickers are dead, and with certain sectors are dead, money's always moving around, right?
Yeah.
So there's no such thing as dead money, as it's always kind of maybe switching hands. Maybe, I don't know. But this Nike definitely coming in a little bit nicely here. Amazon back down into VWAP. So we were kind of talking about that reversion being potentially nice there as well. And Amazon coming in pretty nicely here as well on the day, pulling back into its VWAP. So that reversion coming in off of a day high of 78.13s. I was involved here, 176s. Didn't quite get involved here when this kind of came in 178. So look at that beautiful bit of a trend all the way back down into VWAP. I'm looking for more of the same here on Nike. I don't know if it's going to be able to get back down into VWAP at the same time. Again, keeping an eye on XLY at the same time here while I'm trading Nike. Some of these other tickers as well, consumer discretionary, might be ones to keep. It'll be worth keeping an eye on as well, on some of those names as this trade potentially comes into fruition here, Joe. But then again, I could very well be wrong. This could tick right back up. We can go to high a day, blast through the high a day, and nothing will come of this. I'm more than willing to be wrong on this trade here. That wick, man. As soon as I said that, it like slams the wick all the way past 64s, and I'm like, oh boy, did what I just say come to fruition? I'm like, oh boy. All right, so okay, well that chart's about to go away now. So yeah, I'll continue to watch this Nike, but I think right now we have a guest with Adara that we're going to pass it off to. So enjoy that, guys.
We do indeed have a guest here. We're so excited to have Jason Barnard, CEO of Foremost Clean Energy, on the show with us today. How are you doing, Jason?
I'm good, Adara. Thanks for having me.
Of course, so happy to have you here. So let's talk about Foremost's brand new announcement that came this morning. You announced that you guys commenced drilling in the Athabasca Basin. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yes, we announced drilling. So exciting times. Remember, this is the Athabasca Basin, so highest grade uranium deposits in the world. And what, if you read the news release, and what I'll tell your audience is that we are testing known uranium mineralization. We're testing the extensions of known uranium mineralization. And how do we know that? Because we've already hit uranium mineralization in drill programs there in the Athabasca Basin where we're drilling. So this is significant. We will be continuing to drill, and in this part of the world, you have the highest grade uranium deposits in the world. We're surrounded by uranium mines and mills, highest grade Cigar Lake, and of course, we have a great technical team that we're using. Our partner, our exploration partner, and our largest strategic shareholder is Denison Mines. They're a $1.5 billion uranium mine developer, one of the next uranium mines you'll see developed in the Athabasca Basin. So we are in there drilling, and I hope to deliver very good news soon. Remember, we've already hit the uranium mineralization. In previous drill programs, we've hit as high as 2.4%, and in our recent drilling programs, we have hit nicely in the Athabasca Basin. And what you do in the Athabasca Basin is where the uranium discoveries are, you have the harder granitite material, and where it meets the sandstone, hence the basement. When you have an unconformity, which we have, and you drill back to that unconformity, what you do is you keep drilling, keep hitting that uranium mineralization, and you're getting closer and closer to a discovery. So exciting to have those drills turning, and I expect to bring more news soon to the market.
Oh, that's very exciting. Congrats again on that announcement. So we had another announcement this week from the U.S. administration. How do you expect this tariff announcement to impact Foremost and the uranium market as a whole going forward?
Well, you can see that the market doesn't like it. And we were sort of shocked that the bite was even bigger than the bark when tariffs came along, and they were quite high for companies around the world, Asia, Europe. Canada, well, we didn't get away unscathed, but there wasn't increases in tariffs to Canada. And in the uranium space, where ourselves foremost clean energy, uranium is the fuel that fuels nuclear power plants and nuclear power, and that is an energy commodity, like oil, like coal, if you will. So it's only a 10% uranium, 10% tariff for energy products. So we sort of aren't caught up in that mess, but we are caught up in the downdraft that has come, it's hit the market hard. And I expect that to subside. I expect we're close to the bottom. And with our drilling news release, you can see that we're getting a lot of good volume and buying in our company. And that downdraft has created an opportunity to go buy sort of an oversold situation. So, the tariffs themselves, I think it'll work itself out. We're hoping that, there's a bit of a reprieve as Donald Trump goes and negotiates with each country. But if you look at the fundamentals when it comes to Canada and uranium, which isn't included in those higher tariffs, we're going to be okay. And we're fully financed, and we've got a drill program all year, so we're going to be okay.
So with that in mind, are there any other catalysts that we should be looking for coming from your company in the coming months?
Oh, yes, many catalysts. Remember, we are fully financed. We have a $6.5 million budget to go drill in the Athabasca Basin, where you have the highest grade discoveries in the world. Expect more information on that. You will also look for catalysts in the nuclear power space. Nuclear power, it's the biggest mega trend on the planet. So far as high-tech companies will come along, they need that power to build out their AI data centers, big increases in power, big investments by the hyperscalers and the high-tech companies. So expect big news in our space, and then expect that commodity to get going, because there is a supply crunch, there's a supply deficit. So you will see movements in the commodity. Us, foremost, we're a fully financed company, and we check all the boxes. We have the big partner in Denison Mines, $1.5 billion partner. So expect lots of news on the uranium front, on the nuclear power front, from Foremost Clean Energy.
Thank you so much. Before we let you go, is there anything else you'd like to add to anybody considering investing in Foremost Clean Energy right now?
Yeah, so I would like to add that I mentioned a couple times we're fully financed. That financing was at 3 times the market cap and 3 times the share price where we are now. If there's a normalization in the market, you want to find these these oversold, undervalued situations that are fully financed, that have the technical teams and the big partners that can help them, like we do, help them finance and help them technically when it comes to going and finding uranium discoveries. So if you're looking for a swing trade, you'll see we're drilling now. You'll see the volume coming in. If you're looking for buying deep value, you can go buy us. So don't wait for to miss a lot of your win because you're chasing something like FMST or FAT if you're in Canada. Make sure you're in there picking it up when when things are ugly. That's when you want to buy them. So that's all I have to add. And if there's any further information that any investors need, they can contact me at Foremost Clean Energy.
Sounds good. Thank you so much again for being here with us today. Jason Barnard, CEO of Foremost Clean Energy, FMST on the NASDAQ, and FAT on the CSE. Thanks.
Thanks, Adara. Thanks for having me.
Good stuff
Thank
there.
you very much.
Yeah, good interview there, Adara. Very, very well done. and great questions as well too there. So Obi, if you mind just taking it
no
over
worries.
for me
I'm
for a
gonna
second.
just take it over here.
Thank you.
Yeah, the market's still kind of, now we're trading, we've stepped down a little bit here, trading below that 17.8 as of right now as well. Just holding above that 17.7. There's a little bit of a consolidation here happening on Nike as well. We did kind of trade back below that 58 mark, but again, we're kind of consolidating around that anchored VWAP there. So just waiting and watching to see if our buyers still kind of involved here in and around this anchored. I think I have my anchored at 57.70. We're trading 57.70s, 80s-ish as of right now. Just looking to see if this level is given up and if the buyers kind of step down as well as the bid kind of starts to dissipate as well. Casey saying DXY breaking out of a local resistance, VIX holding uptrend. Methinks equities heading back to retest lows. Yeah, maybe we'll keep an eye out on that. Equities have already been retesting their lows for a decent chunk of that session as of right now. So. Just a trash bag floating in the ocean. Thank you for the super chat saying, I have analysis paralysis after studying for a year. Can you talk about the basic strats for crayon eaters in the back? Something to nucleate off of. Thanks, guys. Your show is fantastic.
What does that mean?
He's saying basic strats. I don't know about strats.
What is the crayon eater?
I don't know.
mean?
I think he's trying to just talk bad about himself, but don't do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't do that. It doesn't matter how good that crayon tastes. Let's try to stay away from eating those. But you want to chime in on that?
Yeah, for sure. We'll go tit for tat here on that. Analysis paralysis. Guys, you know from my charts, I literally have one indicator on there, that being the volume weighted average price. Other than that, price action, Obi said this the other day, is king. I use that, and then the time of sales as well too. And then I use the level 2 for imbalances on the book. Again, analysis paralysis, you're not the only one who faces it. And that's exactly why I try to keep my technical indicators to a minimum, because I don't want multiple things telling me different things at once or something different. They can be good when they all are working in conjunction. But again, for me personally, find what really sticks out to you, whether it be one or two of those indicators, and just stick to that. All right, don't have MACD up there with the Fibonacci retracements, with every other moving average on the planet, then VWAP. You're just gonna have a chart that like Obi's one chart there. That was just pretty funny.
I keep it up.
Yeah,
I don't use all of them.
Of course,
I use maybe one or two of those while trading. But I keep them up just for the.
But that's what we're getting at, right? Just find one or two things that you're really attracted to, and just focus on that. Build a system based off of those, a couple of things, and just eliminate all of those indicators that you may have on your chart. But let's see what Adair's up to, guys.
I just wanted to give a little bit of a news story here about TikTok. This came through when this interview was taking place, so I was not able to give it then, but I think I did throw it in the chat quickly. So it is Walmart reportedly in talks here, according to ABC reporter ABC reporter Selena Wang, saying that Walmart is apparently actively considering joining a group of investors to buy TikTok. So WMT not spearheading the efforts, but they're apparently willing to join and actively looking to join a group of investors on a TikTok deal. Also, Selena Wang adding that Trump is expected to sign an executive order to extend the deadline for TikTok, which is currently tomorrow, to be banned or sold off. So again here, Trump looking to expand the deadline here for TikTok. Again, that deadline is currently tomorrow, and Walmart apparently looking to join a TikTok deal. Here's WMT on the chart. I'll send you back to the guys.
Thank you for that. So yeah, Obi, apparently a crayon eater is a term used by the Marines to self-describe. There you go. That's what the chat is for there. But yeah, Obi, yeah, thank you for that. We'll get to the Playmaker poll in 1 second. Obi, I'm just curious to your thoughts on that.
I think I don't know, like, here's the thing. There's no such thing as like an epic strategy or anything like that, right? What you have to focus on, I think, is your ideas. A big epiphany for me last year was like anybody can have great ideas. You can be like, we're going to come in, we're going to look for a bid on Apple or maybe on Nike, and then I'm going to look for the bid around this level, right? Great idea. It could work out exactly like that. But the difference is made when you have actual execution sets. If you're like, okay, I'm going to buy Nike at 95. How am I going to get in? I'm going to get in if it's holding VWAP, if it's doing X, Y, and Z. If I have three factors of confluence. What is 3 factors of confluence? It could be, oh, we're holding above opening range high. We're holding above the bid. There's size on the bid as well. That's been kind of holding it as well. So maybe stepping up. So things that are leading to show you that maybe buyers are in charge. So if and when you see all of those things, maybe that 95 becomes a level to maybe transact at. But yeah, the execution kind of set for your ideas, I think, matters a decent chunk, and that's kind of what I came into realizing. I guess by the end of last year. So. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a big part of 2024 for me.
Nice. I mean, yeah, I think you're trading pretty good as of late, Obi. I don't know how you feel, but I think you're definitely
okay.
Yeah, picking up there. So I didn't catch which indicator you had on the chart. Have a good weekend. Mr. C, thank you. And do you want me to take a look at SPY for you? Because I know you always say, can you take a look at SPY? So we'll take a look at that. All I have on this chart here is the volume weighted average price there, guys. That's it. This red line right here, that is VWAP, and that is the only, I guess, from a. I know some people classify it as a moving average. I don't know if you do there, Obi, but that's it.
VWAP?
VWAP, yeah. All right. So there you go. It's that's the only thing I have. I know Katina Man uses the 50, the 100. Do you use the 200 as well too, Katina Man? So those are his numbers. You don't really use the 5 or the 10 or anything like that. So you're getting heavier. So Katina Man has his MAs. He's using the 50, the 100, and the 200, and other than that, you're not going to see too much on his chart. The same thing with Neil. If you're looking at Obi's chart as well from here, all you can see is that he has the volume weighted average price. So I think it just goes back to the old saying of less is more at times, and I think that's what you want to kind of aim at right there. But we are in some NVDA here, guys. Let's get back into these markets. Sorry, you didn't tell me Obi was. Oh, okay, all right. Take a look at that chat there from Big Tammy from Bama, a good friend of mine there, Obi.
Thank you, Big.
He says thank you, as you can clearly hear. So yeah, he's got the smile. You know what I mean? He's that type of guy. So watch out. He's that guy, and when he's storming the streets of Toronto, drinking towers, you better watch out for him. Yeah.
Yeah, so, I can't say the same. We can say the same for you, bro. Come on.
No, I wouldn't go that far, man. I wouldn't go that far.
But man, Gallus.
Yeah, I mean, hey, man. I mean, no, good time.
I got him blushing now.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, man. No, hey, I'm gonna just leave it at that. So I appreciate that. Right. Do I only use VWAP because I'm a scalper? Maybe, yeah, but again, I think it's something that, and that's what you want to use too, just going back to the indicator talk before we get back into these markets, is that you want to use I think the majority of intraday traders use volume weighted average price, and if you have more people using the same indicator, then that's just better for you, right? You don't want something that's less used, but we're starting to slowly climb higher here in NVDA, Obi. As you can see, we have the inability to construct that new low. So what essentially we have is a higher low and then now slightly rebounding. So that is a positive signal here in NVIDIA. I believe it's going to be more of a slow burner. The sentiment in this name is not too good. We're still negative about 7.8% or 7.1% here, guys. So a bounce would be really, really nice, but it might be tough to get that here. We had this on Apple earlier in the day. You can see that we entered on that 5-minute VPA signal, partial out add, and then we eventually get stopped out, break even. And then now we're in some IBIT as well too, to see if we can get this ascending wedge to crack. But what we need is that volume really, really to step in, and then we can climb. But again, holding up relatively strong here is IBIT, up about 2%. Thank you for that there, Ramin. But before we send it back to my guy, you know what time it is. We are 6 minutes late, but that's okay. As they say, better late than never, Obi. Exactly. Never late, the better is really what you want to go for. Maybe, Adair, maybe if you can translate that to my younger brothers, that'd be fantastic. Because those guys,
unless you're a wizard, then you know.
oh,
how
then the timing is immaculate. Then if you're a wizard, I guess, right? So it all depends.
Never late, never early.
Yeah, exactly.
Just when he's meant to arrive.
Just when he bang. All right. So yeah. Shout out to Joe's little brothers who have the inability to show up on time. All right. 5:11. We're in. Oh, are we going long here? Ramin? Oh, what? Come on. You didn't post it in there. What do you mean?
What's happening?
You didn't tell me the stats of it. Short by a landslide.
Oh,
okay,
boy.
we're doing it live and we're going short. 1166. There we go. Our profit target is going to be 511.66 is going to be 509.66. And then our stop loss is going to be at 512.66. Now, to note, guys, we are going short. It's apparently by a landslide. We're in at 107. Again, heightened volatility. This might be a little bit of a tougher play here, Obi, because that volatility has most definitely stepped in on today's session with that heightened VIX, guys. So minus 100 shares right there. Let's see what we got going on. Can we reach 509.66 in the SPY today? I know there is a high level of OI at 510. Let's see if we can crack that, Obi.
Yeah, so, well, speaking of levels cracking, this Nike continues to maybe step down a little bit there, so that's good. That's kind of working out for us a little bit here as the trade potentially comes in. Market's kind of pulling back in, right? We're still chopping sideways, but printing another red 15-minute candle with only about 6 minutes left on this one to finish printing here. So just watching, just observing, you know, sitting back. A lot of times you just gotta be patient and wait for the trade. And we heard Neil talk about this on days like today. It's better to be definitely a sniper and wait for that most opportune moment and take it right there. And that's where you want to be risking. Again, I have not done that very well today. I kind of I'm like, I like this area for selling prices, and I'm like, I'm going to sell these prices. So not as clean and not as I guess you know, as snipey as I can be, but definitely I think yesterday I had a bit of a snipe there on Walmart. So still building that skill, getting a little bit better at executing in the right moments there. Nike holding that 57.5 as of right now, breaking some prior lows there. That prior low is sitting at 56.92. So we keep on stepping down here. This is the low that I'm talking about right here. So that's 56.92, just shy of that 57 level. And you see that VWAP is sitting all the way down here just above that 56. So I think we might be in for some interesting price action if we can crack through that 57 level and get through that 56.92, just prior support and resistance from the intraday. Again, this was an intraday catalyst, and there's definitely buyers that are risking against that low. So if price can get down there, then I would be more interested in maybe continuing the position that I'm already in, short from 58. So let's see, about 50 pennies here, just holding, waiting for more, looking for more. Don't know if I'm going to get it, but just sideways consolidation as of right now, pretty strong on this catalyst here today. But with the market looking like it's potentially coming in and XLY holding below its VWAP now, I'm looking for that potential test of that 57 here on Nike. Let's see if we can just do that.
Nice look there, Obi. I mean, I think you can eventually get that breakdown to the volume-weighted average price. It might be a little bit more of a slower grinder, but exactly, yeah.
I'm gonna head in a straight line there. I'm not expecting it to go straight.
So yeah.
It's gonna have ebbs and flows on the way
exactly.
there.
So.
Question becomes, can I manage my position, my mental, and my risk while it does that? So
yeah,
that's the key.
I mean, and I think that's good to point that you just have a game plan as well too. So you'll just pan that out, and hopefully it does work out on your side. So, but yeah, guys, we're sitting in some NVDA. Let's see if we can get this pop. As Obi mentioned, we are starting to pull back a little bit here, guys, and heading towards the lower days. Apple's starting to run into those levels. Google heading back toward the lower day as well too. And the Qs and the SPY are just below that. So the short on the Playmaker poll looking pretty good. We're already $1 in the money, which is crazy. So yeah, we might hit that 2-to-1 target here. very momentarily as we approach the low day right now. And there we go. We are into it. On the spider, as you would like to refer to there, Obi, on SPY, right there at 510.31. I mentioned those high levels of open interest at 510 in itself. Let's see if it can hold up for a second time on the day, or it's grabbed enough liquidity and there's participants who are willing to drag it lower. So let's see if that hedging comes into play and you get that bounce off this key support level and it forms somewhat of a double bottom, or we break through the lows and then continue to the south side. And at that point, you need to look at what is going to be that next level of potential support, and we can do that just now with the options chain. The thing to note here on today's expiration cycle on the Qs, I mentioned that level of that's the SPY I have up here, 410. Let's see what we got going on, and let's see if we can hold up here. So 510, yeah. So 13,000 open contracts at 510, and then you're going to see that next level of OI possibly sitting around 505 and 500. If we get to 500 today, that is not going to be a good day whatsoever, but we'll be patient. I don't think we get there because that means we would just have to absolutely tank. But again, anything is possible, Obi.
Anything is possible.
Yeah, anything is possible. So yeah, we'll be patient, wait and see. Let's see if we can continue with this small bounce that we're getting in Nvidia, still down about 7.8% on the day as we go and test the low of the day with some of these other bigger names, with the exception of Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon was definitely looking interesting. Here comes the futures, man, back into their lows. So again, some of these shorts are working out pretty nice as of right now across the board. So just being patient, waiting. Looking for the next trade, letting things work, and yeah, so that XLY is coming in pretty nicely here. I'm looking for that 57, but we're kind of chopping and consolidating around this 57 halves pretty decently. So again, I'm just kind of just watching, observing. A lot of this tape is just noise. So I am considering that. I'm like, yeah, a lot of like 90 to 95% of what I'm watching here is straight up noise. There's only very few seconds of actual tape that matters. But the caveat is you have to be sitting there watching to catch those few seconds, right? You can't just be like, oh yeah, when I look at the tape, it just happens to be the moment where it's that time. Yeah, no. Just watching this hold of this half dollar level as the markets continue to push back a little bit lower. There goes the ES, printing some fresh lows on the day. Let's see if NASDAQ will follow. That's coming in real hot. Now trading below that 17,700 here on the NASDAQ. There was some demand in these areas on both the ES and the NASDAQ coming into the morning session. Let's see if that demand continues to sustain in these areas, or have those buyers kind of stepped off and that it's not really there. That's the question I'm asking right now. We're trading below 175s here finally on Amazon. Alphabet pushing to its day lows there. Apple as well, almost at its day lows. Softy printing its day lows. Spider, again, we just talked about how the ES is there. TQ is about to print its lows as well. So, oh boy, we are coming into the downside. Tesla trading 240s. I remember, like it was just yesterday, we were almost at that 300 mark. And oh boy, a little bit of a failure to follow through. Stepping down, it would seem, is Tesla as well. Maybe in step with Elon stepping down from Doge, but we'll see as this market continues to flush. 57s, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for it to print the quarter and then crack even lower there on 57s here on Nike. But still holding up. Again, not necessarily the most in-play name, I would say. But again, is it following a little bit of what I'm looking for? I think so on the day. And again, there are definitely better vehicles for the short. Do not get me wrong. I'm just involved in this one there. But throw it up in the chat. What tickers are you involved with if you are shorting in this market? And what was your game plan on it? Where did you get in short? I would love to know. Some of these shorts working out beautifully. I just realized that Apple's high of day is $199.86. What a failure to follow through of that $200 level. Absolutely beautiful kind of price action there. 151 highs on Google as well. Some key levels, 100 highs on Nvidia as well. So very distinct kind of rejections coming in the morning session on a lot of these Mag 7 names. What's going on, Adara?
Google on watch here, GOOGL, the company posting on its blog that it's announcing the launch of its first stable version of its model signing library in partnership with Nvidia and Hidden Layer. So GOOGL and some type of AI-related announcement here on their blog. Also worth noting that this individual here, Moran from the White House's Council of Economic Advisors, is saying that Trump is laying the groundwork for an economic boom and the markets will see. So Moran here of the White House's Council of Economic Advisors saying that the markets will see that there will be an economic boom being laid by Donald Trump's tariff measures. Back to you.
Thank you very much, there.
You for
I'm starting to cover a little bit here.
Nice.
The market is coming in pretty nicely here. Again, if Nike's not going to make it down into VWAP, I do want to cover a little bit here. I'm being a little bit cheeky, but again, I'm trying to give most of it to a prior bar level. But if it's going to come and consolidate a little bit higher here, I do want to piece off of it and kind of just respect that price action as well, right? So that's, I think, something crucial that we have to remember in this market. Again, VWAP's all the way down at 56s. That's a 1.5 away. I'm not going to be very happy if I cover like more than 50-60% all the way up here without any significant reasons. There has to be significant reasons to cover. As of right now, we're pretty much trading kind of sideways in this off of this pullback range, right? The high at 58.80s, the low at 56.90s as well. We've kind of just chopped around there, and I'm like, okay, well, these seem like a little bit extended prices. Let's see if we can kind of normalize back down into VWAP as well. And that's it's kind of coming in. Maybe I don't have the patience to wait, but again, I got some orders posted there. Maybe I'm sitting on the quarter, I'm sitting on the whole as well. So let's see if it can come down into that 57. Futures there's the Nasdaq pulling right back in as well. 17.6s now coming into question here on the Nasdaq. So going to keep a close eye on that one as well. I'm trying to cover maybe a little too aggressively here, but it is what it is. What do I got? I got about 60-70% of the position just posted out. I'm going to keep the rest for later. Sometimes I find myself getting out too early in certain types of consolidations. Again, we've been mentioning this. I've been trying to get better with kind of judging certain types of consolidations and making sure I'm getting involved at the right places and using that consolidation and the information that it's giving me effectively to make the next decision as well. So just keeping that on watch. 57 halves, man. Just a lot of chop here on 57 halves. Consolidating, so I've covered a little more than half of my position here and posted in the lower 57s for the rest. And you can see my average keeps on changing because I sold a decent range of prices above that 58 as well. So let's see if that can potentially come in here. 57.50s right now as the futures again explore a little bit lower and try to find some balance there of price, but we've been kind of just trending a little bit lower. Nothing really being accepted here, it would seem, but seems like that 57.5 is accepting pretty well here on Nike, so I do want to stay a little wary of that. What do you got going on?
Yeah, nice look there, Obi. We are bouncing off of these lows, guys, so that's a positive signal. Maybe getting some institutional hedging going on as we run into that 509 level here on the SPY. Still sitting in this. Let's see if we can continue to climb a little bit higher. Sorry, someone in the chat, they asked me to take a look at a ticker. It was like TMF or something like that. Was that it? TMF, I believe. I meant to put it on my thing, and I didn't get to go over it. Oh, yeah, there it is, TMF. So we'll go over that here momentarily, but you can see that we're starting to climb a little bit higher here in NVDA. So we'll be ready to take some off. I was looking to trim, but I'm more or less waiting for that move back to the volume weighted average price. But it doesn't seem that we want to get it as the overall market is really is now south of those lows, that being the Qs and the SPY. But a nice indecision print here as we crack through some of those key levels. Let's see if we get that bounce that we are waiting for. I do like that IBIT is holding up relatively strong and not selling off with the overall market. I mentioned this before that we're still positive on the day, up about, up 1.5% here. So holding up relatively strong. That's a good sign here for this asset class. Are we going to break through some of these levels here, Obi? I don't know. We'll have to be patient and wait and see. But I do like that we're consistently constructing those higher lows. That's positive sign here in this name. So again, Obi and I, remember we were talking for a second day play on Tesla when we were like, okay, yeah, it's holding up as the market on Wednesday, I believe, before the tariff news came in. It was holding up really, really strong. And I believe it had delivery numbers that day as well, too. So the catalyst was there. Buyers were holding the price steadily when the overall market was selling, but then eventually it gave in to what the overall market was doing. But let's see if we can get that same type of price action here in IBIT and see if we can break through some of these levels. You're adding to the position?
I covered a decent chunk. Now I'm kind of massaging back into it, just trying to work with some of the action here, because again, I think this might be a crucial moment. If the futures kind of bounce here and if we trade back above 58, I don't know if I necessarily want to stay as involved. Like I said before, I covered a decent chunk of the position, just kind of waiting here to see what we do next. Do we continue to make some lower highs? Do we continue to tick up higher? Like I said, I have no idea what this ticker is going to do, but again, just trying to go with the flow. Roll with the punches there. Oh boy, why did you not accept my order there? That's interesting. Oh, okay, never mind. Okay. That's okay. I got to do the cancel most recent. I got to get that key. I forget what that key is, but I don't necessarily use it very often, but it seems like more recently I have been needing to use cancel most recent a little bit more, I guess, more frequently. Okay, so continuing to make a bid here on Nike. Just waiting here. I did add a little bit going into that 58. Just sitting above 58s with that average there. Prior high, structure high, sitting at 58.11s here on this little high right there. So as we push back up into 58s, I'm curious to know if we're going to come in and slam into that level as we get a little aggressive, right? The bid's getting a little bit aggressive. We tried to sell off. We couldn't get down to 57s. We dropped down aggressively to 57.38s, and then now we're bidding right back up to 58. So I think it's kind of showing me that, all right, well, in and around this area of the anchored VWAP relative to the event, there might, like, the buying still might be a little sustaining. The bid might be a little sustained is all that's kind of telling me right now. So I do want to stay as nimble as possible. But this 58 is also interesting to me. We've made lower highs going into it. We've broken down below it. So looking for some participation of some volume here around the 58 as well to give me some direction. XLY maybe catching a little bit of a bid back into VWAP as well. So with all that in mind, again, let's see what this market does. 76, a little bit of a bounce here on the NASDAQ as well. So not really looking at anything else just yet. Mean Gene saying Palantir. Okay, all right, let's take a quick look at Palantir here and see what is going on with Palantir on the day today. Yeah, Palantir, beautiful selling off of that VWAP, catching a little bit of a bid off that 73 as of right now, but I like this step down. Look at that, 77.25 highs, and then stepping down below VWAP with 76.20 highs, and then stepping down even lower, 75.20 highs. Let's see if we can step back lower with 74.20 highs here on Palantir. Seems like selling is stepping down a point every time there. Interesting action. Sometimes some of these patterns are very, sometimes you can see, so buyers and sellers, they step up, they step down. Sometimes it's obvious, sometimes it's not. It's beautiful to see consecutive, consistent price action like that, seeing a seller like step down incrementally, it would seem. But yeah. Back into 58s here on Nike, not really looking at anything else. Only got about 35 minutes left in this in the midday session. So don't forget, leave your ideas and tickers that you want us to look at in the chat. We're more than welcome. We more than welcome you to do that, and we can take a look at some of those tickers. And not really get like any sort of advice, but I love looking at charts. That's the only reason why I'm asking, and kind of looking at the story that's being told on said chart as well. Yeah, that's all I'm really watching right now.
Yeah, I like that. I like that point that you made on just the story aspect, kind of to just dive into it. Is that in my opinion, each individual candle prints its own story, and they're very important in telling. So yeah, good luck there, guys. Yeah, let's see what we got going on. Make sure, come on, guys, hit those.
You have the option to like and subscribe. This trade has unlimited upside.
There you go. Hit the like and subscribe. That's all we are asking for as we get this nice little bounce here. Really good signals here, Obi. You can see on the overall market. So this is the SPY 5-minute, and we put in that really nice. We put in this really nice doji here at the lows, and we get somewhat of a bounce here. So that is a positive signal. One thing to note is that volume signature isn't really isolated. It is weak, so how the depth of this pullback is yet to be determined. I can't say that it's going to be a full-fledged reversal just yet, but getting a nice bounce here in NVDA. Looking forward to crack. So you can see that we're continuously running into this resistance zone. If we can crack through this resistance zone, then I think we'll be okay, and you can get that climb a little bit higher, go mid-range, and then look for that next level of resistance would have put us right at 95.40, but again, down 7.3% on the day. That is NVDA. And then essentially the same thing here, Obi. So the retail space looking relatively strong here on the rumor that Vietnam is going to remove all tariffs from the states. So Lululemon climbing higher, and the likes of Nike as well too. Yeah. IBIT starting to approach the high day as well, so that is a positive sign, but continuously running its head into some resistance zones. Let's see if that volume steps in. We can punch through that, and then we can start taking some out here. We climb any higher here in NVDA. Waiting for this crack, but again, we're running into this zone, so I should probably take just a little bit off, just to be a little bit cautious, but you can see the ebbs and flows of this are quite dramatic. So yeah, we'll be some more patient. The dark pool prints obviously always coming in as well too. So if we can break through this 94.50, then I think we'll be okay. NMAX, yeah, let's go back to some NMAX there, guys. I see a lot of people in the chat talking about that. So we'll pull up Newsmax. Wow. So yeah, this thing's now back down to 51 bucks here. Oops. Okay, 51 bucks and change here, Obi. So not the best look here on NMAX. What is going on with this here? You slow it down, slow it down. All right, so yeah, we'll take a look at NMAX to see what's going on. NMAX, that would have been such a beautiful short here from a daily standpoint. Yeah, I think do the signals display themselves? Yeah, so like we have like a week of data. I mean, but again, a high of 264, and then now back down to 50 bucks. So hopefully you weren't buying all the way up there, because that is an 80% haircut. That's an expensive haircut, Obi. I don't know how much you pay for a haircut, but okay. I'm not looking to pay.
I mean, times like this, man, I find myself paying like 40 to 50 bucks at times. Yeah. So pretty well. I remember in high school. Yeah. When we used to get a haircut pretty frequently, I'd say maybe like once a week. I don't know. Wow, once a week. Damn, your hair must grow real fast.
Well, not anymore.
But yeah, no, I was.
That funny, Remy?
Yeah. He's saying no anymore. That's funny. Yeah, man, me too. But yeah, no, I used to remember 20 bucks, $15 for the haircut. Yeah, man. And it made me leave like three, depending on how nice it was. And, $3 to $5 tip. It was pretty nice.
3 to 5.
Yeah. For like 15 bucks, that's a nice tip. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
It was in high school, bro. $15 haircut. What do you get?
Times are hard.
$10 tip, bro?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, for sure. Easily.
Well, we'll see. I mean, the times were a little different back then. I'm always like, what percent of the fee am I tipping, right?
Yeah. That's what it usually.
Yeah, exactly. So
I was taught by my
10% of $15 is $1.50.
Yeah, so we got to double that. That's 20%. Like, exactly. Yeah, there you go.
It's not bad.
There you go.
But, now I'm paying like what, a 40 minimum. 35, 40 minimum.
Yeah, I'm 55 out the door with tip.
Yeah, sometimes that comes out to 40. I go to a couple different barbers there, but yeah, depending on where I'm at. There's one in Toronto that I found that's pretty nice. Nice. And there's one in Markham where I live as well. That's pretty nice as well. Nice. But yeah,
I had the same two barbers. Like when I lived up north, I only let one guy cut my hair. He was Jamaican. Yeah. And then when I moved to the city in 2013, again for another decade, I never let one guy cut my hair. Now I got a new buddy who's just down the street there. So
yeah, you can't cheat on your barber.
No, big time. And it's funny. One day he wasn't working, and I needed to get my hair cut for an event. Yeah. And he came in. He was going to the gym earlier, and he's like, "Oh, you cheated on me, bro." I'm like, yeah, I messaged you. I needed to get my hair cut. There's nothing. Yeah.
Like, but I messaged you. I called you. You weren't there for me. You didn't provide the liquidity when I was demanding it. But sometimes it happens.
But see, the thing is, though, Mike, Mike,
Jones is laughing.
what do you say? What do you
No,
say?
just not what I said, yeah.
I didn't hear what you said. What did you say?
At the liquidity, you know.
Add the liquidity to the hair.
No,
there.
no,
Oh.
no.
Oh yeah, we didn't. That costs money there, my friend. Joe, you're almost at my level. No need to pay for a haircut. Not enough left, so just shave it off.
I'm getting to that point as well.
Obi, relax. You are not anywhere close to that.
I've said this multiple times. Wow,
Dude.
Beautiful sell-off happening.
Yeah, we
on
are
Nike.
getting the sell-off
gift
here in
that
the
keeps on giving.
Let's go. Nice work.
No, I'm saying that's the secret of the man bun, right?
Dude.
I opened this up. Oh boy, there's a whole landing pad on the back there.
Dude, if you have
I'm telling
enough
you.
hair to put it in a bun, you are not worrying about what's going on up top. Like it's not patchy or anything along those lines.
Yeah.
So I think you're sitting okay. But I mean, anyway.
We're all gonna take a trip to Turkey.
Yeah. Well, sign me up. I'm the first one there too.
Yes,
so
let's go.
I'm the first guy there. So
By next year.
By next year. I'll give this a couple more years. I've never had a bald haircut, so I'm kind of curious to see. But I'm also nervous at the same time.
The thing is, if I'm going bald, like I gotta start hitting the gym. You know, like it's like
you have to hit the gym.
You gotta
bald,
maybe throw some facial hair on there as well. You know. Oh boy, here comes some selling. Take out those stops, Nike. Just do it, because I'm waiting.
Let's go.
And it's running for that VWAP.
Good luck
and
there,
I'm sitting comfy in these Nikes here.
Nice.
As it kind of tries to trend a little bit lower. I don't know. It could find a bid here again. We've been finding bids here in the low 57 halves multiple times, so maybe we're just revisiting this area that's been showing up as a little bit of demand over and over again. Maybe we get some more demand, but I did reload on that 58 push. Let's see if that can finally come back in and give us some fresh lows here. The market trying to catch a little bit of a bid here as well. Let's see if we print a second 15 green with only about 12 minutes left on this candle. Just waiting to see if that'll potentially come into fruition. Joe, what do you got on watch? Pixar it's not true. Hey man, listen, I'm not gonna solicit my balding picks. Let's not.
You got picks?
Let's not do that. What? No.
All right, so then it's not real. It's not real if you don't.
Doesn't exist.
Yeah, exactly. So, good luck here, guys. Yeah, a lot going on here. That's what I was gonna say, Andrew. That was a classic old track there. But here we go. In the TQs, I mentioned that signal earlier. We're starting to get that bounce here now, guys. Again, we could have got a little bit better of an entry, a couple pennies or 20 cents or so, but it looks like we're gonna get somewhat of a rebound, and that's a positive sign, especially with that signal that I mentioned earlier on today. So you can see it on the 3-minute time frame. We'll pull it up on the 5-minute as well too, so you can get a better picture of what's actually going on. So here it is right there, a nice indecision print at the lows. We couldn't crack through. I mentioned those high levels of open interest in the market, and now they are acting as support. So you can see that we punched through 510 on SPY, but then we've had the inability to hold it, and we're getting that rebound. So possibly some more institutional hedging going on right here. Kanye East, it's Joseph at TraderTV, and let's go to Adara.
Brought to you by Profit X. In sports, playing flexibility is everything. At Profit X, you can see the order book just like a financial exchange. Pick your spot and customize the odds to fit your risk. Why settle for a single offered price when you can set your own? Plus, our mobile interface makes it easy for you to play on the go. Profit X, where you call the shots anytime and anywhere. Users can use code TraderTV to get our sign-up offer of 2% cash back up to $300. Back to the guys.
AAPL, I'm not too familiar with what a box spread is. I'll have to look it up. Maybe it's a combination of verticals. That's what it may be sounding like right now, because it could form a box, and that's essentially what these strategies are. Yep, for sure. So yeah, I'm not too curious about that. Obi, what do you have going on right now?
Yeah, no worries. I'm kind of, I added into this Nike position as it kind of broke back below. We're catching a little bit of a bid here as the market attempts to catch a bid as well. So I'm kind of being like, maybe that's all she wrote. Maybe that's all I'm going to get. That 57.5 level, man, it keeps on coming in. It keeps on coming in as a little bit of support, and it keeps on holding. So I should probably be respecting that piece of information here. But I don't know, something's keeping me in this. I'm just like, just give it some more time. It's gotten much weaker every time the bid kind of has stepped up. This this time around. It's gotten a little bit weaker, but I don't know if I've gotten a little too aggressive for my own good here as we trade back into that 58 level. So it could definitely just get out, get back in a little bit later here as well. But I'm going to be a little bit patient to see where what comes in and what happens. We're here with Nike just kind of consolidating now between that 57.5 and 58. Seems like that's those are some interesting prices happening here on Nike, and the market's bidding back up 17.8 here on said NASDAQ, and Amazon still kind of consolidating. So held that VWAP pretty well here. So yeah, that VWAP definitely coming in as a bit of an interesting level as of late to potentially look for opportunities, look for action to give you some direction, and using it as an indicator to give you that direction has been somewhat fruitful, depending on how you're using it. But yeah, a little bit of a VWAP orbit here on Nike, and which VWAP you may ask, because it's elevated from its original VWAP. I'm talking about the anchored VWAP here. The anchored VWAP sitting at 57.70s. We're currently trading exactly in and around 57.70s as of right now, continuing to make a little bit lower high after lower high as well. So got that on watch. Nothing else too crazy. Again, you guys know I don't really get involved with too many tickers. I try to put my focus in one or two tickers, one or two ideas that are showing me what I'm looking for, and then really putting risk on those, looking to really leverage my skills and my daily risk on some of those ideas as well. But we'll see what Joe's up to.
All right, Obi. New traders, listen up. First month, free. That's right. We're waiving fees. Trade smarter, not harder. Upgrade to Elite. Analyze, strategize, capitalize. Our platform, it's everything. Infinite data, instant trading, lightning fast market insights, game-changing charts, predict with backtesting, reliable real-time data, global markets at your fingertips, all in one platform. Don't miss out. Execute your best trades now. Ready to elevate your trading? Scan the QR code or check the link in the description. All right, guys, there it is, e-signal. That's the Katina Man, Sharif use it, and the guys at the big desk use it, but we're really starting to bounce here in the overall market. That was a good bottom signal, Obi, and that's why we look for high levels of open interest. Where are those bases? I mentioned 510 on the SPY. I mentioned 425 on the Qs. We're bouncing off them, respecting them. Really, really well. So we'll continue to grab them. A really beautiful, beautiful signal here in the market. And I hear, and yeah, there we go. We got some breaking news with Adara. There might be some tariff talk there.
There's actually, well, sort of, it's more TikTok talk right now, for lack of better terms. So Donald Trump saying that his administration's been working very hard to save TikTok, and they have made, quote, tremendous progress. So they've actually signed an executive order to keep TikTok up and running for an additional 75 days. That's on top of the 75-day expansion that they initially signed. So basically, they're going to be continuing to work in good faith with China, saying that China is not very happy about their tariffs, but he maintains these tariffs are fair and balanced, and that he's willing to work with China on a TikTok deal despite their retaliatory tariffs announced this morning. So keep an eye on any of these TikTok-related plays. Oracle, Amazon, AAPL, Microsoft was at one point in talk for TikTok. Walmart also joining the phrase. So any of these TikTok-associated stocks, keep an eye on as Donald Trump signs the executive order to keep TikTok in the U.S. for an additional 75 days as they work towards a deal, which he has confidence that they'll be able to come to. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Adara. So yeah, more talks in the works here, but again, we hit that 2-to-1 on the Playmaker poll. Obi, we were short 511.66. Our target was 509.66. The current low on the SPY was 508.57. So the 2-to-1 was hit there. So we'll document that data. Really good look. But what we got going on here is the TQs, that bottoming signal really coming into play. A good look here. Still negative on the day, but that is okay. A nice bounce, and those high levels of open interest have most definitely come into play today on the put side. That is, Obi.
Yeah, no, I think, again, I'm kind of, I might be reading a little bit too much here into this level hold, but that 58's holding pretty nice, and I'm just like, yeah, I think I've extracted a decent chunk of the move on this ticker. I probably should, step up and walk away from this one at this point. If it's going to hold that 57.5 over and over and over again, and just continue to hold and chop around that anchored VWAP, then yeah, I do want to respect that a little bit there and not really get involved as aggressively aggressively as I am here. Again, kind of got a little aggressive there as it pushed back below that 58 halves, but now that we're trading back above that 58, I do want to keep a closer eye on it here. We could trend back up to high a day pretty easily. The market's starting to take a little bit of a turn here as well, and again, got to respect the action as much as possible there. So Nike, just got eyes on that, and I think we are about to send it over to Adara with some breaking news.
Keep an eye on AAPL, a Brazilian magazine by the name of XM has reported that Apple is considering expanding its iPhone assembly line in Brazil. We know that Apple initially was trying to expand their supply chain outside of China, but now they're running into some tariff concerns with some of the countries that they rely on now, including Vietnam, getting hit by tariffs too. So now it sounds like they're trying to expand their supply chain and assembly line over to Brazil. Keep an eye on AAPL. This was the Mag 7 that was hit by far the hardest by this tariff announcement that came through on Wednesday. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Adara. See, Obi, we got that breakout here as the market started to climb higher. IBIT was forming this wedge here, guys, and then now with the strength in the overall market, you've seen it break out. So now we're knocking on the door of that $48 tag here on IBIT. What do you got going on?
Yeah, so I'm just keeping a much closer eye here on XLY here. Here I can show you guys what I'm looking at XLY, and you can see that it is kind of strong here, pulling back up into VWAP here. But again, I'm looking for more of the same. Let's see if sellers step back in, or we do continue to make relatively higher lows and higher highs relative to this low that we've kind of made. We've broken out of this downtrend as well a little bit here on XLY. So maybe a potential bid maybe coming in a little bit more aggressively. We're seeing that happen on Nike as well, right? Nike level hold of that 57 halves, 58s as well now, maybe stepping up a little bit higher. So going to keep an eye on that one there. But yeah, no, Tesla, people saying shadow wrap, talking about Tesla. Let's see what Tesla is up to as of right now as well. Tesla, yeah, it's 243.67s it's trading at right now. So still some room until it can get to its VWAP here at 246.86s. But yeah, still kind of trading sideways here. On the Tesla, so nothing too crazy there. Again, we've sold off pretty aggressively this week, and I want to reiterate, like at the end of the day today, I'm curious to know how things really kind of close at the end of the week. When you look at the weekly charts here on the futures, let's take a look at the spider, right? Because I know a lot of people got eyes on the spider as well. So let's take a quick look there. So SPY right here, boom, boom. This is a weekly chart on the spider, so you can see right here, pretty much a pretty strong and long red bar here, all the way to the downside, down about 7.63% here on this candle. So that's what that's saying. That's what that's telling me here. So pretty aggressive pullback coming right into these August 5th lows as well. You can see that 508. Let's see adjusted. Is that around the same price? So yeah, 505.48 are those August lows. Current low of this week is sitting at 508.33. So just a few points away from that here on the spider. So are we poised for a test at the end of this week, or do we make a little bit of a bottom wick and do a little bit of a bid and then take that out maybe next week for the continuation that we've been having over the past since I guess middle of February, some red weeks here for the past 6 bars, so 6 red weeks. One of them a little bit of a doji here, March 17th there on the spider. So something interesting to watch out for. But yeah, let me know in the chat what you guys are up to. GME ripping saying Aldrin. Let's take a quick look at a gimme here on the day. Let's see if the game is afoot. And yeah, maybe a little bit here. Look at that uptrend here. Absolutely beautiful here on GameStop. 22.96 is day high. Look at this beautiful hold of that VWAP. Chops that opening range low and kind of sustains that opening range high as well for a step up above 22s. Only got about a point above that level. So GME, solid stuff happening there on Gimme. What do you got going on?
Yeah, good look there. We're just taking some out here on Nvidia. Just like you said, getting those reps in here. So Yeah, let's see if we can continue to climb higher and get into the volume weighted average price. Those signals at the lows here are really good. But as for the retail space here, guys, Lululemon starting to approach those high days as well. So that is a really positive signal. And I know a lot of individuals in the chat were referring to Bitcoin. So yeah, there you go. Nice forming wedge here on IBIT, and then continuing to climb higher. We break through that volume, really starts to step up. So now we're approaching those highs. So it's really positive sign that this underlying asset is holding up amidst all this uncertainty, and that's what we want to be able to identify. Michael Noss says look for strength, and you can do that from an intraday standpoint as well too. Look for strength, and that's kind of just the name of the game. Obi, I know you've been trading really well. You've been trading Nike well, and what was your other trade on the day? You said again?
What was it? Amazon?
Amazon. Yeah, so nice. You were long on Amazon.
I was short on.
Short Amazon. Okay.
This is,
so from the peak there into the volume weighted average price.
This is where I was like, why are you running? Where are you running? And kind of might have chased it down a little bit there, but ended up working out. Got a little lucky with that one there.
That's all that matters there.
Just got to get a little bit. Just got to get a little lucky. That's all it is. You know.
Yeah, I mean,
put yourself in places that you increase your probability of getting lucky. How about that? So that's what I'm trying to do as best as possible as well. So.
Yeah, no, very, very well said. I think I agree with you. Everybody knows that some people are lucky, but it's also the skill and effort that puts you in, have you the ability to be put in spots that will make you lucky. But we're continuously just piecing some out there, guys. You can see 93.90. We're long here in Nvidia, and it's slowly starting to climb higher. So good look here. Are we going to tap into 96 or 95? Maybe, possibly, but we are still negative 7% on the day. Ugly haircut here from NVDA. Gaurav says he's still holding on to Amazon long from that VWAP standpoint. Nice, good look there, my friend. I know you got that trade into the high a day. No need to get out of that trade until it comes out of your break even. So yeah, hopefully you pieced up some outs around 178. That would be a really good trade, which I know you've been looking at. So really good look. I don't know what happened. I thought I didn't know I took all of my TQs out here as we climbed higher. We grabbed the bottom really nice, but then again, once again, I just took all of them out. So wanted to piece some out, but as we ran into some resistance zones, we came back in. But yeah, unfortunately, I got it out there. So you guys see the two positions that I'm currently sitting in. That is going to be the likes of NVDA right here, guys, and from there, some out there, just because we couldn't break through this 94.4 level, and then the same thing with IBIT there, guys. So yeah, that's it. We got about 12 minutes left here in the day. If you guys want us to go over everything, just put it in the chat. We'll be more than happy to do so. You know, Obi likes to look at charts. I like to look at some things as well, too. But I like one thing that you noted there, Obi, is that I'm really curious to see how we close on today's session. I think that's going to be really important for me to place my upcoming trades. Like I mentioned to you I mentioned before to you guys, in my swing trading, I'm not just like, I'm not swinging at every pitch. I've been really, really patient, and I'm waiting for that precision to come into some of these swing trades in order to take them. I told you that it took me multiple attempts to get that Amazon swing trade rolling. Yep. But again, when the setups are there, and Obi and I have been talking about this, you have to take the opportunities. I think I like that you took that opportunity on Amazon today, Obi, because I did not at VWAP where Gaurav took that trade, and I think that is an AAA plus setup. It's a really high probability setup, especially with the strength in it, and the print that was right at the volume weighted average price. So that's kind of the name of the game that I've got going on from a swing standpoint, and it's been really, really productive for me as of late, taking significantly small losses on leverage products too, that being options contracts, and then getting right back into trades and removing kind of my hedging positions and allowing them to work. So essentially what I told you guys, I had a ratio spread on my first initial entry, which helped me reduce the loss. But then when I hopped right back in, I went just straight out flat buying contracts. There was no hedging involved, and then that way you have the ability to just absolutely eliminate all of those smaller losses and then put some capital appreciation in your pocket. So that's what I'm going to be waiting for on some of these big names. I do believe that we may be short-term oversold, and I'm going to be looking to take advantage of some of these opportunities, because as they say, and I mentioned this before, never let a crisis go to waste there, Obi.
Yeah, for sure. I think again, whenever there's volatility, there's opportunity for traders in the market, and we have to do our best to try and capture that volatility and that I guess maybe mispricing, if you want to call it there. That's how I like to see things. Again, if I think that things are mispriced, I'm looking for reversions, and I'm trying to get better at kind of understanding that concept and repeating that over and over in an effective way that shows some sort of consistency as well, right? So it is a journey. It's definitely not an easy one, but I've been working on it. And again, kind of a sideways chop here on Nike is not really. It doesn't really have me convinced of anything too great as of right now. But yeah, again, I'm not really involved in anything else. I don't really see anything else, to be honest. That's really worth kind of dabbling in as of right now in this very moment. Now that could change. That could very well change over time, throughout the day. Again, it's only almost 2 o'clock here. I didn't hear a bell. I didn't hear no bell. So we're still out here looking for some.
Still out here, man.
Yes, sir. Still out here.
Yeah, exactly. It continues. All right. You got any plans for the weekend, or?
Nothing too crazy.
Just chilling out.
Yeah, maybe just hanging around with some friends there.
Nice.
But yeah, how about you?
No plans, man. Just hit the gym, chill out, barbecue, and that's it, really. So, yeah, man, it's summertime. We got to cut the sugar out. We got to be extra hard in the gym here. Seen the runners were in full effect yesterday, so unfortunately I got a bad knee injury, so I can't run as much as I used to, which is really unfortunate because
these are not holding up as well as they used to.
Yours aren't?
Yeah.
Yeah,
but I've always had issues with my knees since high school. So.
Oh yeah, did you ever have a knee injury or anything like that?
I did not.
Yeah,
I did not, so.
I tore my ACL back in like 2013.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I just aggravated it again a couple months ago playing hockey, which is not good. So
that's no good.
Yeah, so it's not been fun, but hey, there's other things we can do. There's no doubt about that. But yeah, Sean Chin, no, I can't do that, unfortunately. And I don't want Sharif. I can't let Sharif show me up there either. So we won't be flexing on the gram anytime soon, nor do I have Instagram. So can't be flexing on that. Well, yeah, so let me know what you guys are up to. Let me know what you guys are up to on the weekend. Any big plans, just charting, honing in on your trading skills, whatever it may be, because it's looking really, really good here in the markets. And I can't wait for these daily prints to show up. So, yeah, exactly. X-Bane's Goggins, stay hard. And that's kind of like what we're trying to do. Yeah, stay hard. You know what's funny, though? I made a video way back in the day when I used to run like 10Ks religiously, even though that's not, Goggins would laugh at me. I would make Goggins videos and send them to my buddies, like all chirping them and stuff, and be like, hilarious. What are you doing today? You're not doing anything. And I'd be like running and sweating and stuff like that. So yeah, stem cell therapy. Yeah, I mean,
motivation for.
Yeah, I'm the half Jamaican Goggins there. I'm the half Jamaican guy. I used to be anyways. So, paintballing, nice, Wookwear. I used to paintball competitively. I used to play speedball way back in the day. Yeah,
paintballing is a lot of fun. I haven't been in ages, but have you been to Sergeant Splatters?
Sergeant Splatters? Yeah. I haven't been there in probably 20 years, but yeah, Sergeant Splatters.
There's some spots.
Have you ever been to Barrie paintball?
Was it Barrie? I think up north a little bit.
There's like there's Wasaga and Barrie
there's
paintball.
Some pretty solid places.
There's some good. We've had some good battles. Like Barrie paintball is really fun because you have such a large map and there's so many different games, and King of the Hill is one of my favorite games. So it's just like you have to storm the hill as the other team is defending it, and guys are like throwing paint grenades and stuff like that. It's just chaos. It's fun stuff.
Yeah,
but,
definitely lots of fun paintballing. Yeah, we should all go. We should make do a floor trip there.
Floor paintballing trip.
Because boys always go for golf, right? Maybe one of the days we can go for
go to Sergeant Splatters there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Or go-karting or something like that.
Best go-karting place in the city are those electric carts at GPK.
GPK? No, I've never heard of that.
They have a couple locations in the city. They are absolutely solid. Those are like two strokes or something like that, aren't they? The electrics are the fastest, by far some of the fastest carts in the city, I would say. Fabian was saying, what about the gas ones? Yeah, the 4-1 Mini Indy has gas ones, but I think I've been there once. But no, so much more torque on the electrics, so much more pull.
Zero to.
They even have drift nights sometimes.
Do they?
Yeah.
Those things are wicked. Yeah, we used to do that. But yeah, let's see what everybody in the chat is up to this week. We got 5 minutes left. Joe paintballing tracks. Yeah, let's see what I'm no Superman. Used to play semi-pro, MPPL. Okay, nice. Hunter Harvey. Speedball is intense. Used to play woodball a lot. Says Casey France. I rather miss the bottom right away. Let's see what everybody else is up to. There's people north of you. I get that, Ricky G. There's actually significantly more people. Actually, not significantly. Most of Canada is here. What is it? Do they call what is it? The 69th parallel or something like that? Is that here?
I don't.
Yeah, no idea.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you know what I mean. There's a line, but yeah, the majority of the Canadians are kind of in southern Ontario. But don't forget, you got a lot of Americans more north than what we are. So, my first job was as a pinball ref. Used to get it shot out of me every day. Nice on the blockchains. Pinballing is definitely fun stuff.
What?
No. Someone's saying they used to be a paintball ref there. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, used to scrim Houston when I guess not. So, yeah, someone said they're playing Survive, a game. Not doing much this weekend, says Butter Biscuit had just be playing this game called Survive where me, often this segment happening all week. Okay, so that's not really a game. That's a real life game there, Obi. So, hopefully you don't have to you don't get caught in some of those tornadoes. But back into these markets here. Guys, we're getting another pop here in NVDA, OB. Going to take the remaining bit out here as we are starting to head at the end of the day. So good luck here on that bounce in the overall market. Yes. That print coming heavily into play at these lows, OB. You and I are always looking for them, and the options play definitely pointed them out as well, too, as we couldn't hold some of those lower levels there, my friend.
Yeah, for sure, man. This bid here on Nike coming in pretty nicely, kind of contesting some of those prior levels here. I am kind of holding a little bit of a bag here as it continues to push back up. Kind of giving back some of the prior gains that I had on it, but I'm going to be a little bit patient here. We're trading sideways pretty much here, but the market is bouncing, right? So the market's bouncing, and then Nike's catching a little bit of a bid as well. Let's see how far this market can bounce. Kind of coming back up into that 17,900 mark here on the Nasdaq. So going to keep that one on watch. Let's see if sellers kind of step down, or do we kind of retake all of that? That 18th out also very interesting. Also another very interesting level as well. So going to keep that one on watch. Wow, Nike super strong. Oh boy. Man, yeah, hopefully, I don't know if you guys were involved in Nike at all, but that 18.5 level was holding pretty well over and over again. That anchored view up coming in pretty well over and over again. But sideways kind of consolidation since that strong leg up on some of these consumer discretionary tickers here. I didn't really take a look at the rest of them, but again, like I said, I do have XLY on watch, and that's kind of trying to consolidate in and around that VWAP level. So I have that. I'm kind of considering that as well. So I don't know what else you have going on for the rest of the day there. Are you looking at any specific kind of ideas or tickers to pan out? Anything you got going on? Because we only have about a minute left.
Yeah, I think for me, Obi, I think I'm just going to wait for a lot of these daily prints to come in, and then come Monday, do an additional assessment. I believe that like Friday, but again, with that double gap down, I do like this potentially, right? So this is what I'm looking at. So we have 2 days in a row where we continuously gap down, and now I want to know if I can base a trade off of this. Are we short-term oversold? What's the RSI telling us, etc., even though I don't necessarily use it. But what I will do when I get home is I'm going to look at the cam structure. So these are preset from a monthly standpoint, and where we sit from a pivot standpoint in the cam structure. Are we ready for a bounce, etc.? And with that being said, this is where I can base some of my really good swing trades. And hence, like, I'm swing trading really well right now. So I got to continue to just to move some of these. I'm in on some hood for the long term in around 42s. So I'll be grabbing some more hood. But one thing I will wait is that I'm gonna wait for this print, and then as soon as we sit on top of this, I'm gonna start to grab some contracts that will be hedged. I will hedge on the first attempt, with the low being my stop. We crack that, then there's going to be some more potential downside, I believe. Before we send it off here, guys, you can see from the peak to where we're currently trading at, down 47%. That is HOOD. Q4 was for fantastic numbers. I don't think the stock necessarily deserved this. So I'm going to be looking forward to potentially setting up a good swing trade and adding to the long term on HOOD, guys. It is now 2 o'clock, Obi.
Yes.
Anything you want to leave them with there?
Nothing too much. Happy trading for the rest of the day. Hope you guys have a solid weekend. And yeah, we'll be back here. Or Sharif will be back here on Monday. So have a good one, guys. We'll take it. We'll pass it over to Neil and Sean as they will take you into the end of the day here. Again, looking for the end of the day action. That should be interesting, like we covered as well.
Exactly. So yeah, good trading there, brother. Nice work there.
Take it easy, guys.
See you guys. Have a good weekend, everyone.
Have a good weekend, but just do not look at the current market state. But at least we're going back up. Hey, we came back. We're down 420 right now. Now minus 4. Okay.